Peace, everyone. How you guys doing? Welcome to another Friday sermon where we take a concept from the Quran and we discuss it together. Hopefully, it reminds us to get closer to God. I apologize for the lack of content in the last week. I'm getting back into the groove of things. This weekend is going to be a good weekend, God willing. And we're definitely going to get back onto the grind. Give me one second. Yeah. So how's everyone doing? Peace. Peace, finally, MFG. Been waiting for years, for days. Peace, Ben. It's nice to see you. Jay Pigeon, Aisa, bin Yahyain. How are you, bro? The Peaceful Muslim, Turkey. How you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Friday. God willing, be a productive Friday for us today. It's nice to see everyone. Let me just put something up real quick. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Give me one moment. So I wanted to show some stuff before we start, and I wanted to get to this part here. So, all right, I am going to make a review on this, but apparently Mufti Abu Layth, he made a in between me and him, and apparently I'm a Wahhabi, I'm a Salafi, I'm a Khawarij. If you don't believe it my way, then you're completely wrong, and all this other nonsense because the man just can't simply listen. So I wanted to just answer some of his nonsense, is what it is, and maybe so you guys can understand a little bit on the character of that kind of individual. But just give me one second because I'm trying to figure out my freaking. There we go. Cool. Yes. So I just wanted to play a little bit from what he said because just I thought it was pretty funny, man. I was watching it, and this guy thought that he understood me, and so anger and passion and all this other nonsense he keeps saying. But he did make a few incredible claims while he was doing his thing. So let me put it up, and when we can talk about it. Let me see where it is, where it starts. Cool. Okay. There it is. Sorry, I'm just catching up to my things right now. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me. But I did wanted to touch up a little bit on what he was saying about me. Because again, yeah, so here we go. So this, let me present this. And of course, this is before we started talking about psychedelics, because that's part of the sunnah, and how psychedelics apparently improved his relationship with reality. Makes total sense. I understand that kind of mentality. It does show you a different perspective of life, but definitely you don't need it. But here we go.
Debating them.
May God bless you, Paladin.
And yeah, I mean,
So
the kind of dynamic was just horrible to watch. Absolutely horrible. They're shouting at each other, being very rude, disrespectful to one another. All this kind of stuff, just vitriolic hate speech.
Well, this individual clearly doesn't watch my debates. I don't usually go into a shouting competition, nor do I allow individuals to shout at me. If the person is acting inappropriate, I let them run their mouth, and then I just simply answer them. I answer them with what they don't usually want to hear, and because they're just like him, ignorant, they don't know what is actually being said. It's not a shouting competition. I usually have peaceful discussions with a lot of people. A lot of individuals here know me, but when somebody starts to try to push his way and his energy, I'm just going to simply match yours. At the beginning of the discussion, where you were saying it's a discussion, what you were doing was cutting me off. You were simply not allowing me to finish. And the majority of your comment section was telling you that you kept interrupting him. But I understand that you pruned your comment section so that you could keep painting this image of whatever you're trying to paint. But the simple fact is, no, you don't know me. It's not always a shouting competition, and I don't always need to get on the defensive because I'm representing God's book. But when the individual in front of me is trying to sneak around and lie and play games, he's just, I'm not going to let you get over me in the way that you wanted. I gave you the first time, the second time, the third time, you kept interrupting. And I just simply said, like, hey, man, let me finish a point. And then it started to get frustrating. And then at the very beginning as well, when after I laid out the position, I was still manning the position. And then you wanted to talk about the application and how application can be a little subjective. And therefore, your tradition is important because your subjective take is the one that matters. That's when we started to get into the roughhousing. But you just simply wouldn't allow the person to finish a statement, and then you would just go off with whatever the first thought that comes in your head. And that's where people said that you were not allowing me to finish, and you're thinking that it's a shouting competition or that me being defensive. Simply, I could have just answered your points in a way where you would understand it. So you're supposed to put premise one, you're supposed to put premise two, and then you can make a premise three or come to a conclusion based on the argument that you want to make. But by the time I lay out premise one, you already had things to say. You always had something to add. So there was this point where you were trying to say very simply that, oh, I'm rejecting other people's interpretations and this is wrong and that's not so. Buddy, it's not me who's rejecting your skewed interpretation. It is the Arabic language that is telling you that you're wrong. It's not about what I feel or how I think or whatever. If someone's going to present an interpretation, if it's valid because it has to align with the Arabic. When it simply fails the Arabic, then it doesn't matter what you said. And you keep using this word prima facie, okay? Like the first reading, that's the primary understanding that people would get. Brother, for quite simply, like the prima facie of the people watching your discussion with me, if it's supposed to be a discussion, you were just simply rude. You were just constantly interrupting me. And it's very easy to say, oh, this is what he usually gets into and all this nonsense. You just simply don't understand who I am.
Really. So, relatively speaking, and I saw the algorithm brought a few clips that I think he's appeared previously with a few different groups and dynamics. He's appeared with Muhammad Hijab, he's appeared with some of the Shia representatives, he's appeared with a few other people, and then I didn't really want to watch anymore. So,
well, with all due respect, Mufti Abu Layth, I never watched any of your videos. People just kept commenting to you. And when I watch a little bit of your comments, it's just you're overly fake. That's the simple truth. It is very easy for somebody to try to show that he's so kind to the world around him and he's so understanding and he's so blessed and try to play with the body language in a way so that he can show himself in a way where he's so sincere and pious. But unfortunately, I grew up in an environment where I can read through that. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the subject matter. I'm looking what this person is about. As Baba Shuaiba said, that you can invite somebody to your house and in a respectful way, disrespect them. In a very nice and fluffy way, you could disrespect the individual. You disrespected me, quite simply. Our meeting was supposed to be at 6 o'clock. You came at 9 o'clock, and that was on purpose. Then you forced your hand saying, oh, well, I don't have time for a discussion later on. My availability is so short. Trying to play the tactic of, like fear of missing out, which I didn't care. But then you put it live and you put my name on it as if I'm the one who's going to be turning away from your invitation. Your invitation was 3 hours late. You forced your hand, and then you appeared 7 days later when you're saying your availability was none. So these are all lies. And then when I came into your discussion, we were supposed to talk about the Quran alone, but you're now talking about a subjective application, which is not what I was trying to aim for. I was trying to show you why people are avoiding your tradition. It's not about talking problematic hadith. It's talking about problems within the sunnah that you preach, but you never gave the opportunity to speak. It's very easy to chalk it away in all this other nonsense. But simply, just like how you don't watch my material, I never sat and watched through one of your videos. It's just because the way that you approach things, it just for me seems very disgenuine. And you proved it in the way that you are communicating with me and with however your thoughts in the background are, because it's quite It's quite obvious that you're an individual that came with an agenda. You wanted to present the Quran alone community as something that is so subjective that it cannot be practiced. You kept interrupting me so that I would not sound coherent to your audience, and you think that that was a fruitful discussion. But I'm going to show you how certain things that you said had absolutely no claim in the Quran. And that's the point that I'm making. It's not about Khawarij and Salafi. Ladies and gentlemen, very simply, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I'm going to ask a very simple question. If I say, if I say my girlfriend and my wife, okay. So if I go, my wife and my girlfriend, can that be understood as two things or one thing? Exactly. Exactly, Mandy. If I say the words my wife and my girlfriend, would that signify two or one individuals? Two. You see? Two, right? If I go my wife and my girlfriend, it's going to talk about two things. If I go my wife and my girlfriend, she is very awesome, then it be one, right? So if I go my wife and my girlfriend, she is great, then that's talking about a single individual that I gave her two attributes, a wife and my girlfriend. Right? So, but the Quran, it's saying things in that nature where he goes the book and the wisdom and he admonishes you with it. Okay. So now it's not with them. So if they're going to be two separate things, God can simply just say with them. And it's the same thing with a light and a clear book. It does not necessitate that they're separate because the next pronoun that was used was singular. He guides you with it. The Quran is a light and a clear book. You see how I said that? I brought down to you a light and a clear book. I'm guiding you with it. So this right now, it has cut all other interpretations when they want to say that it's two separate things because the pronoun destroyed you. So when they're going to say, oh, it's the messenger of God, he's the light, an-nur. And they were like, oh, no, because that's the prima facie. That's the first thing that is understood when you read it. But nobody's going to read that verse and be like, oh, that was about the prophet. And nowhere in the Quran, God is talking about a light, the light, like nur, light, and attaches it to a human being. A human being can be someone who shows that light, siraj. You see, like the prophet was called siraj, which is someone who shows this light of God, right? But he himself cannot be the light. And on the day of judgment, our lights are fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? So this light is coming from God. Me being a siraj or me being something that is reflecting the light or something that is showing the light does not mean that I myself is the light. So when I'm trying to explain to you, look, there's two things and a singular pronoun, and then you say to me that, oh, well, I didn't want to try to trap you in the Arabic, and then you go, well, what does the grammarian say on which pronoun? Is it? And I say it's the closest, and you go, well, I'm not trying to trap you. Yeah, you are, because you simply could have said that, but then I wanted to take you to another verse where to show you that this grammar rule, this general rules of grammar, is not applying in the Quran the way that you want it, because God states that God and his messenger and his limits. So if it's going to be his is the closest, it would be the messenger. But even though it's God's limits, this is in chapter 4. But this is what I got presented with when I came onto your platform. You were just simply somebody who was not respectful. I don't care on the way that you speak. I'm not here to match that weird energy. I'm not here to be fake with individuals and people. Just because you can talk in a calm way, this is a sign that I've experienced with individuals. I'm not saying that this is about you, Mufti Abu Layth, but people who are narcissistic, people who have traits of narcissism, they're capable of triggering the person in front of them by gaslighting them. And when the individual starts to show emotions, they're capable of being completely calm because those emotions don't affect them. They have no empathy for whatever they're doing for the person in front of them. I'm not saying that you're narcissistic, but it's a narcissistic trait to stay calm in certain situations while the other individual has been triggered to be emotional. I'm not saying that I was emotional. You were just simply being disrespectful, and I had enough of it because you were frustrating me and you were doing that on purpose, especially when I said, hey, let me finish a point, and you go, okay, I'll let you finish. And then you took an opportunity, and I'm going to put these in a clip to show the world on how you're the one who's suffering from cognitive dissonance, where you realize that, okay, he's asking me to stop interrupting me. You interrupt me on purpose just to see if I would react. And when I didn't react, then you took it back, because then the people in the comment are telling you in the chat, stop interrupting him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you in a review when I do with this individual, this weirdo. He had many comments on his YouTube video, on his YouTube comments, saying like, stop interrupting your guest. Like MFG was being interrupted constantly and you were being rude with him. And he would go and delete them. So there was a point, there was like 450 comments. You come back, there's only 360 comments, and he's only liking the ones that are pleasing to him. So this is where it's just someone who's not generally genuine or honest. You see what I mean? So let him call me a khawarij and a daesh and whatever else he wants to call me.
Relatively speaking, I do feel our discussion was a great success, because for the most part we managed to speak. And I know some people were upset about, well, you're speaking over each other. And yeah, so, and I can understand why that was happening, more so from Brother MFG's part, because just looking at all of his other dialogues and discussions, they're not really discussions, they're just all shouting debates.
Man,
and
this guy has absolutely no idea who I am. Like the viewers that know me for a while, they seen I have debates that are like debate streams that are 8 hours, 9 hours long, many of them. Okay, go try to show me where I'm the one who's starting and initiating a screaming match, or where I'm the one who's being disrespectful. You could see when I first started talking to him, I was in a way where it is straightforward. I'm just answering the questions and what he wants. I want to ask a question. He doesn't allow it. I started to sense these smell, the same concepts that these people play with their games. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to make the side look bad without having to defend his, by presenting points that are nothing to do with my position. How many rak'ats are there in salah? Well, that's not in the Quran. So why are you asking me about something that is not in the Quran as if it's supposed to be a catch, you moment? But then when I start to push back, it's like, hey, why are you silent in your dhuhr? Then you're going to give me an exegesis that has absolutely nothing to do with any of what your scholars said. But then you want to say and talk to me about tradition. So this cognitive dissonance that you showed has absolutely nothing to do with my talking style or me being with the history and all these individuals. And I had a lot of respectful discussions with a lot of people where they just simply allow you to finish the point. and here, watch this. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. This is what this guy, let me see if I can put this for a second and then share screen. Let me go with window, I believe. This one. Can you guys see this? Yeah, cool. See, these are people from his own thing. And try to find these comments, okay? Go back into the discussion me and him had. This Mufti guy is not open-minded, keeps interrupting, playing semantics. Shake my head. Great done, MFG. You're not a Mufti, so you're not listening, but he keeps interrupting. Only at the end part is what I call change. Okay, the change of knowledge. But you see how the individual, even when he's liking the comment, it's like he's not listening, right? Love you. But when you have guests on, you should let them get their points across instead of challenging them. And then he replies by saying, oh, I didn't want 2 monologues. All right. But then he's the one who's sitting there monologuing for a good 4 or 5 minutes. And then as soon as I say like 2 words, man, I have a timer on one of the videos, like part of the videos. I cannot get 2 seconds before him starting to speak. 1 or 2 seconds and then he starts to speak. Okay. No 50 minutes in, I'm sorry, and I don't appreciate your tactics. MFG is correct and reasonable in his stance. I came unbiased, but he clearly speaks truth here. I look it up on myself and I see the proof. The Quran is clear and better. What better hadith in the Quran? What other sources should we read? Good luck finding this comment. Mufti, let him explain it. Maybe you'll get hidayah. Forget about value. Again, you won't find this guy can't keep quiet for a single second. Abu Layth, practice listening a little, right? With all due respect, Mufti, I must confess that MFG is, in my opinion, superior. I am now officially, of course, that comment gets deleted. MFG, you did awesome. These are all deleted comments from his things. But it's not more so about people commending me. I'm just showing you. I want to show you where he keep people saying like you can't allow him to speak. MFT wouldn't like, but you see how it's constant. It's like they're right after each other. These comments, but these comments you won't find on his channel. Letting MFG is essential to having a discussion. Yeah, you see what I mean? I watched about an hour and a half so far. I've seen Muhammad let Mufti finish his sentences and point several times. But every time Muhammad is talking, he's trying to lecture him and like ruin his response. Holy moly, Mufti. How do you have such bad listening skills? What a horrible conversation. Like, you see, that's what I'm saying. Like, this individual wants to keep talking about the history and how I had other discussions and stuff, which he clearly didn't watch, just so that he would excuse his own way of acting. And this is just lack of responsibility, lack of accountability. And we had to go back and forth with this individual for a while. But yeah, I want you guys to listen a little bit more so I can get to a point.
So I can see that maybe Brother Muhammad was not accustomed or used to just having a very calm discussion, like an actual dialogue. And the reason why I would, I did watch back, I would interrupt, is because Brother Muhammad wouldn't really answer the point. He would like have almost like you see, a dialogue is not two monologues. This is important to understand. A dialogue is a conversation, and the reason you're having a conversation is you're prepared to see what the other person has to say about this.
Tell me about cognitive dissonance. I bet you to this point right now, he still has no idea what it means to be Quran alone. He thinks it's just because of problematic hadith, we're rejecting their traditions and all this other nonsense. Quite simply, the Quran alone position is that this book is universal. So it does not need to be locked for 1400 years. There are many ways of applying the prayer. There are many ways of applying how zakat should be, or like the charity should be distributed. There's many ways on how you could deal with certain individuals which align with Quranic guidance. It's a general guidebook. It's not something that is supposed to be so specific and structured in the way that you're presenting it, because when we're looking at your structure and we're looking at your tradition, it is not aligning with the Quran, and that is why your countries are so messed up. That is why the whole community is just narcissistic, where they have this sense of that they're so right that anything that is being presented to them, they just simply can't listen. Deaf, dumb, and blind. And this is something that we see time and time again when we're just trying to discuss the general aspects of the Quran. They want to dive into specifics, and then they just don't like what they're hearing because they're trying to measure it to something that they do. But whatever they're doing has no basis in the Quran. And whenever we're trying to show them that it has no basis in the Quran, they say, but my scholar. And that's the thing that where we're very clear. We're very clear in what the position entails. And it's okay to have a subjective take, just like how Mufti Abu Layth has a subjective take that does not align with the Sunnah, that does not align with the tradition. Like, for example, saying that Mary had sex to produce Jesus and Jesus has a father, or that Moses did not split the sea and such things as miracles do not exist. This is obviously his own subjective take, which is rejected. But if he wants to have it, he can have it. It does not mean that we are going to sit here and kill him, or we're going to remove him, or we're going to say that he's a disbeliever. He's just clearly skewed in his understanding, and whatever he puts in the pot, that's what he's going to be eating. So whatever decisions and whatever interpretations you're going to come up with, you're the one who's going to have to stand in front of it with the day of with it on the day of judgment in front of God. We're just simply showing you whether you're right or wrong. That's exactly what it means to be Quran alone. Whether you agree with the person who's presenting to you the information, whether you disagree, that's on you. That's exactly it. Yeah, Abu Sulaiman, be careful, bro. I might have to delete this comment too. You just said something that he doesn't like. His ego gets a little shaken.
And what is on the stand for discussion here is Quranism in that dialogue. It's not other points. It's not, well, what would you have to say about, for example, such and such thing? It's actually, it's this topic, Quranist only. And
yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard him. That's the first time we're going to start referring to ourselves as Quranists only. So I would like to, feel the respect by actually understanding the titles. But, Quranist only. So you're a Sunnist only. I don't know, man. Like this guy is he's just this individual that talks in a way where he's like this, just sorry, but this, like, a snake oil salesman. I don't know what the term is. He's just got this tongue where he tries to pull people in with this soft touch, but yet the things that he's saying has no basis, and people just enjoy listening to him because he comes so polite and so fluffy. I'm not here to be polite and fluffy. I'm here to talk about the concepts that are written in the Quran and to present to you the truth. I do it in a way where it is polite for the people who want to be polite, but those that want to sit there and escalate in the ways that they speak to me, buddy, I can do the same. And you just didn't like what was happening, but I honestly just let you interrupt me. And there's times when I wanted to finish a point and just made sure I did.
Is this a viable means? And I think the discussion really did show that it's not. And
that was his whole plan. You see, when I say that there's an agenda, you see what I'm saying? There's an agenda. He came in with one goal, that this position is not viable. I am going to do anything that I can so that I would accomplish such task, which is to show that this position is not viable. It's the same thing that Muslim Lantern did. It's the same thing that Muhammad Hijab tries. It's the same thing that Ali Dawa tried. It's the same thing that this dude is doing. All they want to do is try to prove with silly questions that this position is not viable. How do you pray? Well, the Quran is talking about prayer. There's different ways of applying. How do you pray? How do you specifically pray? I mean, this is something that's between me and my Lord. If you really want to know, this is what I do. That sounds like you're just following your feelings. No, I'm following what God has showed me in the book, and I'm applying it the way that I see fit. If you have a problem with that, then keep praying the way that you're doing, but you're not getting the benefit that I am, because a lot of individuals that learn what is being said in the Quran in regards to their prayer, and then they start to apply it, they tell me, even if they're from a Sunni background, man, it feels like for the last 20 years, I've never prayed, and I truly prayed today. So this is where these individuals, they just lack the knowledge. They lack the experience. They lack the taste of what a prayer truly is. So that's why I don't get upset at them, nor do I get mad. What frustrates me is that the style that they want to present themselves is as if they are the ones who know, and they're here to just, as they tell you, I'm here just to show you that it's not viable. Well, I'm doing very well for myself, man, and along with everybody else that's following the Quran from my comment section, and the brothers that also do videos and the sisters that do videos, we've been doing really good, and we laugh at the falsehood and the lies. And it hurts us because you think that we're coming from a sense of passion and all this other anger, and it's misplaced. But we're actually defending the messenger. We're defending the messenger from lies that you say, things that you do. You love the guy that, like you. There's no discussion with Mufti Abu Layth without him having to mention Medina and Malik. That's when those are mentioned, they rejoice. Medina and Malik, that's where he gets his rejoice from. That's where his that's the beauty of the deen. It's started in Medina, and Medina, the school of Medina, it has graduated so many great scholars. And if it wasn't for Medina and what Medina did, this religion would have been tasteless, because Medina and Malik and Medina and Malik. Yes, that's why God has not told you about Sunnatul Rasul in the Quran. So you don't just keep saying Muhammad, Abu Bakr, Ali, Omar, Abu Bakr. But in your cases, those that want to follow these other people that came way after those individuals, you start saying, Ali, Karbala, Hassan, Hussein, or Medina, Malik, Medina, or Bukhari, Muslim. And those individuals become someone who's so reverent in your eyes. Like, these individuals are bushra for you when they're mentioned. And I know there's verses in the Quran that talk specifically about people like you. And I did that on purpose, by the way, because God says that when God is mentioned, they don't care. But when those that, those that they love, let's say love, okay, not idolize. We're not going to use those heavy words, because I'm going to be called a Khawarij after the day. God is showing us, but it's okay. We're just going to overlook the signs of who you guys are. When I mentioned Malik at the end of the hadith, there was the joy. He was rejoicing. Oh, he's going to mention Muwatta Malik. Oh, joy.
I mean, from my perspective, I'm kind of done with Quranists
Good.
That's my kind of where I'm at. I'm not really interested.
Perfect. And that is how it goes. When God wants to guide somebody, there's nothing that's going to stop that person from being guided. And when God wants to delude somebody and allow him to, stand for some of the lies that he says, God doesn't guide him. Because the thing is, the difference is, you're not the one who's going to sit here and judge me on how I approach debates, nor are the people going to tell me on how I need to proceed or not proceed, or what I do and what I shouldn't do. I stick around, I stick close to good believers. And the feedback that I get from them is the feedback that I take, and I work with it and I use it. The people, like I had my good brother Isa ibn Yahyain, I had La Muslimana and other individuals in my Telegram. As he's like, guys, they're telling me, stay calm, you got this. He's doing this on purpose. Don't let him get to you. Because everyone who had a little bit of sense of taqwa, awareness of God, they could see through you. And that's why Baba Shuaiba in his episode, he was telling you're just a bozo. Like, quite simply, man. Mufti Abu Layth, I don't care much for you, bro. I honestly had high hopes for you, but you're no better than the other individuals that you keep trying to say that we don't have healthy discussions and shouting and stuff. Just because you're able to bite your tongue, it doesn't mean that you were a person that was respectful or giving the chance of a healthy discussion. All you wanted to do was try to make an exposition, as I told you, and that was clearly an agenda. You wanted to show that the position was not viable, and you started to use dirty tactics to do that by trying to upset and frustrate the individual in front of you, constantly interrupt him, and at the same time not letting him finish a point. And anytime he starts to stand on the ground through all the interruptions, you want to change the topic. Every time you got caught, by the way, you just wanted to simply change the topic because you did not want any coherence to be made. But that's fine, because at the end of the day, to God we belong and to him we will return. And individuals like you, it's just the plan comes back on their head. So I think this was a very, very, very good exposition on you, for whoever wants to approach this position, and then they see, well, Mufti Abu Layth, as many people are saying, in many of his mind traps, he didn't act this way. So why is it specifically with this individual he had to act like this? Just like with Muslim Lantern, a lot of people in his comments, hey man, I've seen you talk to a lot of people and you were always respectful, but with this specific guest you weren't. Why? And that's all I need. So with that said, it is what it is. Mufti Abu Layth is just not a genuine person, in my opinion. He is going to stand for whatever he does, and I wish him all the best. Maybe he gets guided in the future and he realizes his errors. But yeah, other than that, same here. I'm not interested in that kind of individual. Those people are not honest. That's the simple truth. Cool. Peace, everyone. Peace, DTX. Mufti Abu Layth. Quranists alone. It would be nice to, understand what the other side is being cold. It's not even a word that we use, but that's fine. It just shows how he doesn't approach with genuinity or empathy, to be honest. But that's fine. God alone people are the biggest threat. Exactly. That's exactly it. Like we keep seeing in their conferences, right? Like in the conferences, which has absolutely nothing to do with hadith or hadith rejection. It's something about Palestine. Some sheikh will stand up and start talking about hadith rejection and how it's such a bad thing. It's like, bro, why you guys constantly keep bringing this up and telling the people on how much of a bad situation this is? But anyways, man, these people can't tell the difference between guidance and just following the guy before you. And what if their parents were not guided, nor do they understand? Okay. With that said, why do you not pray like Prophet Muhammad? Peace? Because look, tropical land, the way that these individuals pray, it does not show that what the Quran is saying. So there are things that are verses in the Quran that are clear and very detailed that their way of prayer negates it. So for example, they have these 2 times that they call a prayer, which is not a times of prayer, where they don't say the prayer out loud. Okay, they don't read the Quran out loud. They're silent in their prayer. And God in chapter 17 clearly says, do not be silent in your prayer. Okay, and do not be loud in your prayer, and find the middle way. But these individuals, they don't care. They don't find the middle way. They want to say silent. And you say why? Then they want to give you this like mental gymnastics on what salah is. Like, it's very clear. Is it noon prayer? Is it Salatul Dhuhr. Yes, it is. Okay, so God is giving you instruction. Oh, well, I want to just dive into the water and do whatever I want and tell you explanations just because why? My tradition. I don't need your tradition. Because UAE, bro. Because UAE's got more money than the Zionists. Localized money. I'm not talking about generational wealth and money. It's just localized money that's available right now for deals and stuff. UAE. They're both good with the both sides, the Palestinians and the Jews. So there's no need for them to go in the media. But don't worry, their time is coming. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are going to jump into our sermon. The sermon actually has to do a little bit with what we were talking about in regards to Mufti Abu Layth. Okay, so we are going to start talking about how we are going to cross the finish line. This is specifically for believers, people who believe in God, who believe in the last day. There is a promise from God that they will succeed, that there is nothing stopping them from success. And with that said, all praise to our Lord, the Lord of the worlds. Exalted is you, God, above what they ascribe and what they attribute to you. Exalted is you, the hearing, the knowing, the one that guides. Exalted is you, the peace, the light, the calmer of hearts. Exalted is you, the strength, the power, the just, the one that knows what's within the hearts and what's within the minds. Exalted is you, the one that is aware of what the eyes see and what the ears hear. Exalted is you, the one that is aware of all our deeds and aware of all our matters, the one who decides and there is nothing that is going to turn from his decision. Exalted is you, the one who gives life and causes death. Exalted is you, the one that has created this world in such a amazing shape and amazing form where there is no errors, where there is no problems, where there is nothing that is out of what the truth that you created, our Lord. Exalted is you, the Lord of the angels, the Lord of the jinn, the Lord of the humans and everything. Exalted is you, the Lord of the skies and the land and everything in between you. Our Lord, we ask you to guide us to you with glee and hope on the day of judgment. Allow us to be of those that are confident and are happy and sincere with their faith and find ourselves among the righteous and the prophets and the martyrs, among those that are calling towards the truth, which you are the truth, our Lord. The ones that did good in the world and have their reward with you in the hereafter. Allow us to be from them, our Lord. Grant us from yourself a task that would be pleasing to you, so that when we complete it, we have saved ourselves for the hereafter. Our Lord, please save us from the hellfire and do not allow us to be of those that are humiliated and full of regrets on the day of judgment. Allow us to be of those that are sincere to your message and sincere to protecting what you have made holy. Exalted our Lord, allow us to be of those that defend you and your messengers in the unseen, and allow us to inherit this land so that we could make it a better place for those people that are going to come after us and the people that are alive today. Allow us, our Lord, with your permission and you through us, allow us to dominate over all religions and show how your religion and your word is the truth, because your word is the truth. We prostrate to you, our Lord. We exalt you. We submit to you. Please accept us and allow us to be of those that are righteous, and allow us to be of those with who the message shines and resonates in their hearts, and so that we remember you often. Our Lord, we ask you to help us remember you more often, and we ask you to help us defeat Satan and his plan and to save us from whatever Satan is planning against us. For God, allow us to be with those that walk towards you and to walk with you and to be from you, from your party and your faction, for your party is truly the winners. God, do not let us be of the losers, and allow us to be honest in this world and in the hereafter, and let us go into your mercy. You are the merciful, you are the forgiving, the highest, the great. All praise to you, the Lord of the worlds. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our sermon today is talking about the difference about two words in Arabic, adha and dar. So there is a slight nuance in regards to these two different words. They both technically mean harm. So there's things that they cause dar, which is this harm that is sometimes unbearable, where it's going to stop you from progressing, where it's going to hurt you to a way where it's majorly inflicting you with something that you need to carry as this burden, whether for some time or whether for the rest of your life. And then there's the concept of other. Other, where it's someone who's just trying to push you out of the way. This slight hurt, this slight, not pain per se, where they are tampering with you, but it's still harm. Now, there is a concept where God is showing us in the Quran, and I'm going to show you the verses, where the disbelievers, where those individuals that are not aware of God, nor do they want to practice proper consciousness or practice proper awareness, what you start to find that these individuals will target you, will plan against you, will have agendas. And God gave us a promise in the Quran. I'm going to pull up some of these verses here, where God is clearly telling us that they cannot harm you in the word of dar. Okay? So God in this verse right here in chapter 3:11, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We're going to go with 110. 3:110. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون. You're a good nation produced for mankind. You call for kindness and forbid abomination, and believe in God and in God. And if the people of the book should believe, it would be better for them. Some of them are believers, but most of them are immoral. لن يضروكم إلا أذى. They can never harm you except harassment. So, وَإِن يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ يُوَلُّوكُمُ الْأَدْبَارُ ثُمَّ لَا يُنصَرُونَ. And if they should fight you, they will turn their backs to you and then they will not be helped. They can never harm you except by harassment. There's no dar except other. So we now understand that there is like a subset of dar, which is other, which is bearable. The analogy that I like to give people, this is the analogy of a believer. Imagine that we are driving a car, and this car is our religion, okay? And it's going to be, it's our religion, and that's our destiny back to God if we're going on the path to God. So we have all these disbelievers lined up on the side of the road, and they're trying, number one goal for them is to stop your car. That your car is not going to make it to that finish line, that you're not going to go back to your Lord in a healthy state. They're going to try to block you from your faith, from believing in the last day, from staying connected to God, from trying to show this positive morality, this positive energy. They're going to try to paint you as these individuals and keep these ideas in their head, yet they are not very aware of this religion that you're practicing, this religion that you follow, this way of applying what God has said in a way that it is healing your brain, it is healing your mind. What they want to do is pull you down and stop your car. But God has promised you something, that you are going to succeed as long as you hold on to the rope of God. So what you end up finding is at the very beginning, your car is spotless. There is no scratches. The windows are good. The car is running nice. Your air conditioning is working, and it's a comfortable ride, because when you first learn about the religion, it's such a rush of emotions. It's such a rush, and it's such a incredible moment and experience that it's such an amazing high. And then you want to spread this message to everybody, thinking that people are going to believe you. But then you realize that someone that doesn't like you, he comes and he slashes one of your tires. So you try to fix your tire just to get it going again, and it's working. But now there's a little bit of ella on it. It's a little bit damaged. Somebody comes along and he throws a rock and he breaks your glass trying to stop you. So now one of your glasses is broken, and maybe you're feeling a little discomfort, but your religion and your faith in God allows you to carry on as if it's okay, because this discomfort is just for a slight moment. It's just a slight time while I'm alive, because when I get back to God, I'm going to have a better car than the one that I'm in. I'm going to have a better situation than what I'm going through now. But this individual outside, he's going to have to answer for breaking this window, because technically it wasn't my window. I'm just responsible for it. But this is a responsibility that God has given me, and somebody has transgressed. Someone comes along and now they're throwing fire at your car and they're trying to really hurt your car, but your car is still going, but now it's a little bit more damaged. And you're going to keep going through lives where people are constantly trying to pull you down in this car that you're driving. And you might just wobble over the finish line, but you make it over that finish line because it's a promise of God. But the condition of your car, it's not going to be in the condition that you started in. because of all the pain, and all the torment, and all the lies, and all the abuse that you had to endure from the other side. But God is clearly telling you that if you practice your steadfast, you practice your patience, you practice this higher state of consciousness that God has allowed you to achieve, that this pain and this harassment and this abuse that you're receiving, it's really not going to stop you. And you are going to fulfill your goal. We can go to another verse where God is telling us more on how these individuals cannot truly hurt you. So we're going to go to chapter 3:18 again. It's in the same chapter, verse 118. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا بطانة من دونكم لا يألونكم خبلا ودوا ما عنتم قد بدت البغضاء من أفواههم وما تخفي صدورهم أكبر قد بينا لكم الآيات إن كنتم تعقلون. O you who believe, do not take entourages other than yourselves. They will not desist from you in confusion. They will wish for you what you have yielded. Hatred has appeared from their mouth, but what their bosoms hide is greater. We have clarified the verses to you if you would reason. ها أنتم أولاء تحبونهم ولا يحبونكم وتؤمنون بالكتاب كله وإذا لقوكم قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا عضوا عليكم الأنامل من الغيظ قل موتوا بغيظكم إن الله عليم بذات الصدور. Here you are, those loving them, but they do not love you. And you believe in the book entirely. And when they meet you, they say, we believed. But when they pass, they bite their fingers out of rage against you, say, die in your rage. Indeed, God is aware of the essence of the bosoms. And this is where it's very important. God says, إن تمسسكم حسنة تسوءهم وإن تصبكم سيئة يفرحوا بها وإن تصبروا وتتقوا لا يضركم كيدهم شيئا إن الله بما يعملون محيط. If good touches you, it distresses them. But if evil afflicts you, they rejoice. But if you endure and become pious, their scheme will not harm you at all. Indeed, God is conscious of what they do. Brothers and sisters, there's so many of us where we're enduring these fights with disbelievers, where sometimes it seems like the odds are in their favor, that things are going for them in a way that is positive for their plan, but it's negative for us because it's hurting us. But what we have to remember is that God is setting those individuals up for total humiliation, for total loss, for total destruction, if that's where they go at the very end. But God is going to humiliate these individuals that are planning against you, that they hate you, because they might get set up, and then when it doesn't go their way, it's just total regrets, and they're going to obviously show this hurt and pain because they were wishing evil upon you, but somehow it landed on them. So it's very imperative and important when you realize that the person in front of you who's not listening to the words of God, who does not care about this piousness that God has ordered us in, that they do not really change because of the day of judgment being mentioned to them. And they have this scheme, this plan, this agenda that they are so hell-bent to trying to achieve. And the moment that it truly matters for them, after God has set them up and blew them up to the stage that they need to be in, and God makes it crumble upon them, that's when you're going to really feel that, hey, God was with me this whole time. This pain and this things that I had to endure because of these individuals, it worked out for my favor in the very end. That's why when I'm telling you that your car will cross that finish line, all it requires is for you to be steadfast, is to be patient, is to endure those really difficult times. As God states that with hardship comes ease. So just be okay with the hardship. Life is about embracing challenge. And your religion is the biggest challenge, that where you truly have to embrace. The people around you, the majority of the world, cannot see the world the way that you see it because they just simply do not want this relationship with the Creator. They want what they have now. They are thinking about right here, right now, what I have and what I want. A lot of individuals will tell you about the day of judgment and God and believing in Christians and Muslims and Sunnis and all of this. But when the push comes to shove, they care about what they have now. And the word of God is not actually modifying whatever they're going through. If I see somebody that's going through a little bit of depression, I tell them like, hey man, leave it to God. someone who did not realize it before and he just remembered it, it should be sufficient for that person to let go of certain amount of pain, because you know what, God has been with me the whole time. Whatever I'm feeling, God has already knew it. God is technically aware of every feeling that I'm getting, so he knows how bad I feel. But sometimes I'm causing this pain to myself. So if I just let go of this specific thought, I'm back to where I need to be in this positive state that God has allowed me to be in because of this religion. But then a lot of individuals that say that they claim that they believe in God, when they're reminded of these concepts, it does not affect them. Those are the people that are technically some way, somehow are going to hurt you. And of course, there are believers that hurt you unknowingly or in a way where they're maybe ignorant to a certain thing. But again, when you express to them your side and you show them certain verses, you'll see a person who's sincere to God, they will quickly turn around and say, I'm sorry, or I regret doing that to you, and I'm repenting to my Lord for the mistakes. Those are the true believers where they're not out to hurt you. And when they do cause a little bit of harm or discomfort, they're quickly to try to mend it and make it right because they themselves have been experiencing what you have been experiencing to a certain degree. We can also go for more verses, and some verses where I want to show you where the people who are misguided cannot really affect you in much as long as you're guided. That's the number one key, is that where you are always observing the guidance and judging yourself and trying to analyze the way that you're thinking, and so that you would improve your situation, whether mentally or in the environment that you're in, just purely based on the guidance that you are witnessing, or the guidance that you're reading, or the guidance that God has sent you. As God states in the Quran, those that follow the guidance, my guidance, there will be no fear upon them, nor will they grieve. But nowhere did it promise you that there's not going to be other, some harm. And nowhere did it promise you that the disbelievers are not going to try to harm you, or belie you, or belittle you, or try to destroy you. This is not what God has promised you, but God did promise you that you're going to be the successful, and that your enemy is going to be humiliated, and that the plan of the devil is weak, and the evil plan will fall on its people. And there's many promises in regards to those that are planning against you. But one verse that I want to put up is the verse right here where it says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا عليكم أنفسكم لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم إلى الله مرجعكم جميعا فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. O you who believe, your souls are upon you. Whoever is misguided cannot harm you when you have been guided. To God is your return altogether. Then he will inform you of what you have done. Notice how now the same concept, that the general concept of what I'm trying to explain to you, to clarify to you, it is presented to you in a way that is so precise, so clear, and it is easy to understand. If you are guided, those that are misguided cannot harm you. And then when you go back to God, right? When you go back to God, God is going to deal with them, and he's going to tell you what you were doing. So you want to be doing positive actions, positive ways of dealing with the negativity that these individuals keep putting on you. So this is the general idea of what this sermon is about. As long as you're looking for the guidance and you stick to the guidance, the people who are out to harm you cannot harm you. But as soon as you start to move away from the guidance, and you're going away from what God has shown you, and you start to buy yourself into this worldly life, or you start to buy into these concepts which cause you depression or anxiety or hurt or harm, then at that point they can harm you. And those are the times when we have to remind ourselves that I shouldn't be in this position, but I'm causing myself this position because of my thinking. So I want to do something better so that I could show more loyalty to God, and then those individuals will no longer harm me. Because unfortunately, yes, there is physical pain, but the majority of the disbelievers, they're always going for the psychological confusion. They're trying to go for the psyops. You see what I mean? They're trying to mess with your mentality, trying to pull you down, trying to confuse you, trying to throw wrenches at you just because you've believed in God and his messenger and this clear book that God has given us. Now, I want to show you something which is where the two words can be contrasted in a way where it does not only apply to you. I mean the word dar and the word adha. So remember, they both mean harm, but they are a little bit nuanced. God says this about himself. So I'm going to show you where in chapter 9, God states right here. So God states here, ألا تنفروا يعذبكم عذابا أليما ويستبدل قوما غيركم ولا تضروه شيئا والله على كل شيء قدير. Unless you hasten, he will punish you with a painful punishment and will replace you with another people, and you will not cause him harm at all. So you see, we can't cause any bother to God. We can't harm God, right? But there are individuals that are capable of doing other to God. And the other is not to God directly, but towards God's mission. But they're not going to harm God's mission in a way where it is no longer going to be completed, which is to cover this world with this mercy that He sent us and this blessed message and this blessed way of living. And we could see this in chapter 33, verse 57. إن الذين يؤذون الله ورسوله لعنهم الله في الدنيا والآخرة وأعد لهم عذابا مهينا. See, now the word يؤذون is the other word. Indeed, those who offend God and His messenger, God has cursed them in the world and the hereafter and prepared a humiliating punishment for them. So think of it this way. If I raise a mosque in the name of God, and this is one of the houses of God, someone can cause other to that mosque. So they're causing other to what is for God. They're causing other to what God wants accomplished. If I brought a bunch of Qur'ans and somebody burnt the box of Qur'ans and they are trying to harm and stop the way of God, at that moment they're causing just a little bit of inconvenience, a little bit of offense, just a tiny bit of abuse, but they're not going to harm nor stop God. So these are the examples where I said in a few sermons ago, if not the last sermon, where we learn from our God. We learn from our Lord. Of course, we will never be able to understand how our Lord will be. And God has the highest example. God is not a human, but God is talking to us in the Quran from a perspective of how a human should see things. And He's relaying it back to Him so that we can understand the magnitude and how glorious and amazing our God is. Just as a mental exercise, try to see if God became a human today, right? It came in human form. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Of course, He would never sleep. He would never eat. He would have a sense of focus that is God's type of focus. He would hear everything. He would know everything. He would be super powerful. But then at the same time, these characteristics that we are being told about God, where He's completely merciful, He's completely compassionate, He is forgiving, He is the one who is going to protect the believers, He's the one who knows the wise, and all the other attributes that God has given us. It is for us to see on how to get better as human beings. Obviously, we're never going to achieve the levels that it's even remotely close to anything that is of God. But God is telling us where we need to be in our mentality, because that's where God would be in the mentality. For example, God has a verse where He says that God wants the hereafter. So you have to learn from our Lord. Wallahu yuridu al-akhirah. God wants the hereafter. So me following my Lord and following this example that God has given us, I want the hereafter. Because that's what God would have wanted if God was a human. Of course, hasha lillah, He'll never be a human. He's much greater than all of this. But I was just trying to bring the message closer to you in a way so that you have these mental exercises to see on how amazing and grand and like humbling it is when you start to uh, think about your Lord and the perspective that God is showing us in the Quran. With that said, all praise to our Lord, the Lord of the worlds. Peace be upon you, and thank you very much for attending the sermon. I will take a few more questions. I'll take a few more questions, and hopefully next week I can open more like more space so for people to come up and we can have discussions. I might get a few callers today, but I can't have that many. Imagine if you're the Mahdi. Me? I want to say that about myself. Hey MFG. What's up, Ravi? Be careful, that comment will get deleted. Manasuri, peace. No. No, why would that be haram? I'm a very traumatized Quranist, Habibi. He said Quranists had trauma that made them follow Quran alone. I get it. I know, man. Like this guy is just, he has absolutely no idea what he's saying. That's the bottom line. And if God does not want to guide somebody, then they cannot get guided. Appreciate it, brother. But you see, if you look for the signs that are around you, that's where the confidence is. There's certain things where when you get tested at the beginning, you get really tested at the beginning, okay? Where you have these doubts, not in regards to God's religion, but am I doing the right thing? And then you get tested whether you're going to take the next step or not. And it's difficult to take the step, but as soon as you take the step from yourself, you see God was waiting for you already there. And God has already prepared to you that level that you just, took that leap of faith. How many evidences do you need from God for you to just take that blind leap of faith, as they say? But it's not blind, it's based on faith at this point. So the religion starts with a lot of reason and a lot of logic, but there is a point where God is testing you. Is it sufficient? Do you trust me? Do you trust me enough now that if I say to you, go into that door, would you go into that door? Or would you need to know what's behind that door? Would you need to know what the outcome of that situation is? Would you need to sit and think that it's the devil telling you, or is it God telling you, or are you still in that state of confusion? Because when you start to purify yourself and you truly think about God and you start to attribute these events that are happening to you purely from God, not things that are obscene in nature, not things that are immoral, that's obviously from the devil, but things that are normal, with things that are your everyday, when you start to attribute these events back to God, then when are you going to trust that? And as soon as you do, and the more you build on it, and the more you start to focus and hone that reading, I guess the reading of God's signs, the more you're confident that God is with you, and you become more certain. And there's an example about Moses which we can learn from as well, where God states that the messengers do not have no fear around me, except those that cause oppression. Okay, this is in chapter 27. I love that verse because it's like it applies to us too, right? Uh, Not in a sense that we're messengers, but what I'm saying is that concept where God is telling the messengers, it we can see it within ourselves. Where the verse here, right here, God is telling Moses, "والق عصاك فلما رآها تهتز كأنها جان ولا مدبرا ولم يعقب يا موسى لا تخف إني لا يخاف لدي المرسلون." See? Throw your staff. And when he saw it moving as if it was a demon, he turned retreating and did not pursue. "O Moses, do not fear. I do not frighten the messengers in front of me. لا يخاف لدي المرسلون." Or like with me as well, the way that's understanding that the messengers are not إني لا يخاف لدي المرسلون. It's like they're not scared around me or because of me, right? إلا من ظلم, except but whoever transgresses, but then changes to good after wrong, then wrong, then indeed I am forgiving and merciful. إلا من ظلم ثم بدل حسنا بعد سوء فإني غفور رحيم. So God is saying that the messengers do not get scared around me, or they're not scared when they're with me, except somebody who transgresses. And then he's going to feel fear, except if he fixes himself, then he goes back to not feeling fear. But this also applies to you as a believer, obviously not in the level of a messenger, but where that when you are not transgressing, when you're not oppressing yourself, when you're not oppressing somebody else, you have this sense of confidence with God, where that when you do make an issue, you start you start to get scared. And when you repent, you get back to that level of certainty. I love that you mentioned that, my good brother, but this is open for everybody. SubhanAllah, James. I say that to a lot of people. I swear to God, I say this to a lot of people. That's the miracle that I noticed. These are the signs that, like, personally, that's the sign that I know that I'm on the. If there's, imagine like you have a 1 in 100 chance of surviving something, and you survive it. Okay, wow, Subhanallah. You have a 1 in 100 chance of surviving something, and it goes through. The odds were completely against you, and you survived. But then that doesn't happen just once. It happens once, twice, third times, and fourth time, where it's like these great odds are against you. You keep surviving, and at this point, it's like that's where it's like, okay, you know what? cannot be stopped except what God has willed. And that's why I keep pushing. So like the thing with, for example, Mufti Abu Layth or Muslim Lantern or Muhammad Hijab and all of this, they throw their harm, they throw their hurt and whatever. And the odds are these individuals with their numbers, they would shadow me and I'm done, right? Then it's just like some event happens or something occurs or the person does something where it's like now I'm elevated above what they were doing. And all I had to do was sit and be patient and present what I had to present. But again, this is like available for everybody. And and God's book is amazing. Muhammad, when one passes the first line, how revisit their grave? Is there a limit? Why should the Masjid Nabawi be? I'm not sure what you mean. When one passes the first line here, how do long should those after him revisit their grave? I don't think there is any limits. I think you can visit somebody's grave and just take like just to show the respect. And why should Masjid, it's not more any special. And it's special that the Prophet is the one who built it, right? And that we are aware that it was established on taqwa. So it was established on piousness, and God states that if a mosque has been established on the first day with piousness, that's a good mosque to stay in it. But if it was established to separate between the believers, then avoid that. So a lot of the mosques, we don't know the first time when it was established whether it's supposed to be just to like admonish Shias, for example, or is it against or trying to spread, or is the individual someone who's pious? So now we have 3 mosques that are we're completely sure that they have been built upon taqwa, which is the mosque in Mecca, the mosque in Medina, and the mosque in Jerusalem. But as for the death limits, I don't think there is such limits, my good brother Mehdi. How are you, brother? Amazing brother, by the way. I know this man. That's a path. It's a difficult path, but I believe that's. I want to use the word hermit, but from what they say, John the Baptist was he sat in by himself. He sat into the forest and isolated himself. Exactly. Hopefully, I do have a plan. One moment, please. Yeah. SubhanAllah. My good sister Yetta was reminding me that a year ago, I was released from the Lebanese custody. Yeah, when I was, SubhanAllah. And she attached that good verse from chapter 29, and it's very true. This verse, like, see, this is what's beautiful about the Quran. If you're fulfilling the verse, it's telling you the result. You just have to be patient. God states, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لِنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. As for those who strive for us or strive with us, we will guide them to our ways. Indeed, God is with the benevolent. So it's like when you're really doing something for God, you don't want to stop a person like that. What do you think of the followers of Rashad Khalifa? This view has been really right. No, it isn't. No, actually, quite the opposite. They've stagnated. I don't think the Rashad Khalifa group is growing in numbers. In fact, they keep targeting the Quran alone community. So the problem with Rashad Khalifa is he said some really incredibly wrong things about the Quran. He said that the devil is a temporary god on earth. Okay, and not what Khalifa means, a representative, which is not what it means in Arabic. He keeps calling Al-Fatiha, the opener, the intro, as the key, that this is the key between you and God. But that's not what Fatiha means. It's muftah. There's a difference. And then you have also the issue with him saying that you can't read the Quran during your salah because he misquoted a verse. It says, do not call upon anybody in the mosque other than God, right? Do not call upon anyone. but he translated it as do not mention anyone other than God. It's not about mentioning. I can sit and in my prayer be like, God, please bless my believers and sisters, believing brothers and sisters. So I mentioned my believing brothers and sisters. So he's saying that you can't do that in your salah because it's supposed to be to God, but it's just nonsense. And then you have to stone the devil in Hajj, which is not in the Quran. That you have to say salam to angels because Sunnis do it. He's removing 2 verses from the Quran, which is also a crazy solution for his problems. I just it's very easy to debunk Rashad Khalifa for anybody who is interested. Yeah, very true. Very true. Imagine today I was driving and some guy yesterday on his lawn he put Hellsville on his house. He's gonna really regret doing that on the day of judgment. They think it's all fun and games, but it's not. Beautifully said, bro. Yeah, but that's just Discord, bro, and that's not a good measure of what's growing and what's not growing. Peace, Michael. It's going well, actually. I think we've published a little bit of it, uh, but it's still being edited. But give me 1 second, because give me a second. I'm trying to get it. So it's right here. So me and my wife Ilyana, we've been working on it, right? So and we did like a very small, tiny website for what we've done. I'm gonna show it right here. So share. So if you go to lamuslamana.com, right, you'll see one of the links is Quran right here, and then it's gonna give you what we've done so far. Sorry for the small font. I think I can make it bigger. So because it works on the cell phone too. So for example, man, sorry, I gotta see what happened. But yeah, so it's still a work in progress, but we shouldn't be giving this. But I'll see. But yeah, so it's like it's gonna be on lamuslamana.com. It was showing a few verses. I mean, not a verses, but we did have it up with what we had so far. But it's something that I have to double check and make sure. But yeah, brother, it's gonna be on her website as we're making a book, like the printing book, which is going to be very soon, by the way. Good, brother. They're not infallible. They're not infallible. So, for example, God states in regards to Jonah when he was in the ship, or where he's in the whale. He's saying, God, I've oppressed myself, and you're the merciful, and he rescued him. And then the other one is God says to Prophet Muhammad that we have given you a clear victory, like a conquest that's coming, so that God will forgive you your guilts, that what has happened and what will happen. So he has guilts and he has issues as every human. They're humans, so they have to have mistakes. Watching Unitarians debate Trinitarians is one of my favorite pastimes right now. They they're really, really, really kill them on like a lot of points. And then you see the responses of the Trinitarian responses is the same Sunni responses we get. Oh, you guys are kafir. Oh, so everybody's wrong and you're right. It's the same. Yeah, it's nuts, man. No, I don't believe so. I don't know why it's giving me this issue though. I'm like Mehdi giving me a network issue, even though it's being loaded by Ajax, but I have it running. Give me 1 second. So if I do an XHR, click this, yeah, and Ajax. Oh, I see why. Okay, sorry. I think I know why. Cool. Yeah. It's an easy problem because it's trying to. Yeah, this is an easy problem. They're technically right. You have submitted to God. That's the word Muslim. So you have submitted to God and God's will, and you're not associating with God, and you're truly following the example and the message of Jesus. So yeah, you're gonna. I hope the sermon kind of applies to you. The sermon does apply to you as well. That you're gonna hear a lot of hurt from like a lot of abuse from those individuals. But man, I'm a little upset at myself that I made this dumb mistake. You know what it is, Mehdi? The reason why the site is not being pulled up correctly, it's because the Ajax requires admin permission, and I was testing it in admin. I wasn't logged in, but I need the public to see it. It's not DNS, brother. It's admin permission. The admin Ajax is using admin creds, but there's no admin, so it's saying 403 forbidden. No, I think they're almost done, bro. The Zionist state is not gonna stay too long, I think. All right, brothers and sisters. Actually, you know what? I did make a promise. I'm gonna take a few callers, okay? What would that say? I need this. Mm-hmm. I gotta fix it. There's a few projects. I had to put them on standby. I met my brother Mahdi and my brother Ben and my brother Tatsi this weekend. And God bless them. We had a good time. Okay, go. Sorry, Isa. How you doing?
Shalom, brother. How are you? I'm doing good. Praise
Good.
God.
All praise to the Lord. What's going on, man?
So I had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. So I don't know if you ever saw in the group chat I had, I was thinking about your conversation with our beloved Maliki Mufti uncle. And I was like, because he's big on the hadith corpus isn't the sunnah, we have to figure out some different form of argumentation than just undermining the hadith. But the more I thought about this, the Madonna doesn't survive the collapse of the isnad because it relies on the same chain of narrations to come down. You see what I'm saying?
Say it again.
So with both the Muwatta and the Madonna, right? Once you undermine the chains, you've undermined both texts completely because they both rely on the chain.
But it wasn't like the emphasis on there was no emphasis on the chain like it was during the opposite during the time of Muwatta Malik. So his chains are like not as sincere.
But see, here's the thing, right? The Muwatta as we have it essentially relies on Yahya.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so everything in there is ahad. It's singular because it comes through him. And it's probably his student. I haven't looked into the history super much, but every one of the traditions in there, right? It comes through Yahya and whoever is taking them from him, I guess. And then a similar thing with different people happens with the Madonna. So you have all of these supposed rulings from Malik, him saying this is what the people of Medina did, but you have no proof Malik even said that. Because you have a singular person reporting to another singular person that this is what he said, right? So ultimately, for all we know, Medina was doing something a lot closer to what we're suggesting than we know, because it's all coming through a singular person 100 years later or whatever.
Brother, I'm going to tell you an initiative me and my good brother Musa and my sister Yetta took a while ago, but I didn't. It wouldn't have been good if we carried on with it. So I stopped it because I saw some flaws in the thinking. So what I wanted to do at one point was lay out the position of. I just want to see if I have it. Where I don't know where I have it, but I wanted to lay out the position of the Quran alone, right? And anything that we're presenting, we wanted to use Malik as secondary support that this position already existed. We focused a lot on Malik and we've read a lot about Malik. Malik's position is actually very close to what the Quran alone position is.
Well, both him and Abu Hanifa, though.
Abu Hanifa more so.
But and with Abu Hanifa, it's even worse because you can, when you examine him and how he's been viewed throughout the years of the tradition, he went from being like the arch heretic, right? You have quotes from numerous different scholars saying stuff like he was the worst thing to happen to Islam.
Yeah.
Right. And now we're just supposed to forget all that, right? No, he's a pillar of the orthodoxy, and he always has been.
But most of what you're hearing about Malik now has already been revolutionized many times. The original positions of Malik is not what you hear now. Most of it has been like tailored to like come closer to a Shafi'i after a Shafi'i, because they put this emphasis on hadith and then they use Malik as this, like this legend that collected so much hadith, and that's why you get Yahya more than Malik in his books. If you look into the history, it's quite different, but it shows you that there was also a subversion being used on what Malik left behind to try to like delude masses into whatever they wanted. And then unfortunately we started to read a little bit more of what Malik's position is, and then it would have been too convoluted to make that kind of because what we wanted to do is a new madhab, but it didn't work out. This is before committing to what we're doing now.
Also, before I get into the main reason I wanted to talk to you, this brother Tropical Land is asking about, you had commented on I don't think that's the original one I wanted you to comment on. It's the one you had brought it up the other day about that hadith. Here, I have it pulled up. Let me just look at it.
Yeah, you don't have to show your face. Go ahead. Sorry, I was just answering the chat.
Tirmidhi 2664.
Tirmidhi 2664.
Yeah.
Tirmidhi. Soon a hadith from me will be conveyed to a man while he's reclining on his couch. And yes, between us and Allah's books. So what about this?
He was looking for a comment on it, and maybe this
is sure. I'll show you one. I'll show you a comment on this.
Oh no, this is the same one you brought up the other day, right?
But this one's missing. This one's missing, bro. Okay. So I'm gonna put something on the screen. First, I'm gonna put the Tirmidhi one, okay? Tirmos. Okay, it shows right here, right? Why is it not? Okay. So you see here, this is the Tirmidhi 2664, right? Now that the messenger lo soon a hadith will be conveyed between us, whatever. You see this, right? What is the sanad here?
Hassan.
Okay, do you want to see the Sahih? Here's the Sahih.
Yeah.
Sunan Abi Dawood 4604, and this is in Bukhari, I believe.
Oh yeah, that was the other one the brother brought, but I brought up the Tirmidhi one.
But watch this one. Beware, I have been giving the Quran and something like it. That's how it starts. And what's the rating on this one? Sahih by Al-Albani. So you see what I mean? See, so the one that's Sahih is contradicting the Quran.
And the crazy part is that's why the other one is Hassan.
The one that doesn't contradict the Quran is the Hassan one. The one that does contradict the Hassan, that one's a Sahih one. So it's like,
yeah, dude, it's crazy, bro. It's so like just on the face of it, bro.
Yeah,
we talk about this all the time. Whether it's
if the humans and the jinns would confer in order to bring something like this Quran, they could not bring like of it. Okay, but in hadith, right? Yeah, I have been given the Quran something like it. Yeah, may God bless you, bro. May God help you with your may help you with your studies, and may He give you success. But most importantly, may God forgive me and may God forgive you.
this young brother,
Tropic Land.
but
Yeah.
isn't it authentic, bro? None of them are authentic, bro.
It's authentic that they like it. That's the only thing.
That's all that matters. So I had some questions for you because I've been
1 second, brother Jabber. We were supposed to have a conversation, man. Let me know when you're done with the with your yeah. Let me know when you're done with the touring, bro. I was looking forward to our conversation. I keep seeing your name on my WhatsApp. May God bless you, bro. Just so you guys know, I'm pretty sure that I'm talking about. Watch this, guys. This brother here is a rapper. Man, did you just kill it?
dude, it's a mosquito and he's biting my son.
All right, I see.
If it was a fly, I'd leave it alone.
I see.
But
so the brother that's in the chat right here, he's a rapper from Europe.
And I didn't
from
got away.
Hungary, right? Am I right? He's from Hungary. So check out his music, guys. He's actually really cool. He's really good. His name's Jabber, right? Pineapples for Breakfast. He's got a song called Miliok, right? Stars. He's got some new music as well. If you guys want to check it out, he's really good at what he does. So the brother here, he's liking what he sees in regards to what the Quran states, and obviously with people in his stature and his level, it's a different game because they have a lot of individuals listening to him. So having the right mindset, having the right healthy mindset in regards to who God is to you and how God maneuvers everything, and God blesses whom He wants, and God humiliates whom He wants. You want to be on the right side. And with a brother like brother Jabir here, or a colleague from Germany, and knowing that these individuals that have masses, like much bigger platforms than us who just make these content, it's very cool to know that these individuals have seen the truth. So may God bless you, bro, and yeah, definitely keep in touch, man. He said, "Sorry, bro."
No, you're good, brother. Okay. I think most of these are pretty much yes or no questions. But I've I'm worried about some of the, let's call them fissures in the community. Right? So I just want to get your thoughts on some stuff. Would you agree that the Quran warns us repeatedly against dividing into sects, and that avoiding sectarianism is among the most vital commands for any believing community?
Correct. But there is a concept of factions where we're still one. We're not sects, and we do not go at each other, and we're happy with each other, and we're still one big colorful community. So this is the difference between having a beautiful community that's made out of different colors than where the colors want to attack each other, and then all you see is blood. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to show you is a verse in the Quran where God states in regards to after, is it Hujurat? Safat, Muhammad. Let me get to Muhammad. Hujurat, yes. So it's going to say right here, as you see, right here. See, so obviously we're going to have factions in believers. And we see that now where some individuals approach certain topics a little differently than other people. So it says here, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا فَإِن بَغَتْ أَحَدُهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى فقاتلوا التي تبغى حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين. And if two factions of believers should fight, then reconcile between them. But if one of them assaults the other, then fight the one that's aggressors until it returns to the command of God. And if it returns, then reconcile between them in justice and equitable, and be equitable. Indeed, God loves those who are equitable. And then it goes as far as saying that the believers are only brothers, so reconcile between your brothers and beware of God so that you may attain mercy. So this is something that's incredibly important to remember, that we are going to have differences. And these differences are based upon interpretations of verses. And these can lead up to having small minor communities within the major community. But we have to still stick to the rope of God. Okay, we can't be like, oh, that guy's a slaughter and that guy's a non-slaughter, that guy's a flat earther, this guy's a glober, and all this, all that terminology doesn't make sense, and to try to put someone down, or no. So I mean, this is something that is obvious in the Quran. So one thing in my channel is I don't go out trying to make expositions on certain Quran alone people, despite me not agreeing with them at all. But if they try to attack part of a community saying, oh, these guys are crazy, or these guys are Sunni 2.0, then I'll do my stand up. And then when it stops, and then I just go back to peace.
Okay. And then would you also agree that at least one of the best ways to honor that command, i.e., to hold to the rope of God and not divide into a sects, is actively striving towards unity? So, I mean, you kind of already answered this question with that verse, because when two factions are at odds, we are to reconcile, right?
But it's unfortunate you can't teach unity. Okay, this is something where somebody himself has to reach that conclusion. So you have to be able to deal with, if you're in a position of like leadership, on how to maintain unity, right? So for example, look at politics. We're going to jump into politics real quick. And a good example recently happened in Syria. There have many factions of different races, tribes, and religions in Syria. So the individual that's the government, himself, the president, he has to make legislation and make ways so that the unity stays and people stay united. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing in our community. You just have to make the effort to keep people close and to keep building bridges. While there's individuals that their whole purpose is to burn bridges. See what I mean? So as long as you're building more bridges and faster bridges than the ones that they're burning, then you're good.
Okay. Next question. Do you think repairing the divisions and mistrust caused by past sectarianism should be central to what we're doing as a Quran-centric movement? Or
that could be the initial thoughts of many individuals, but you're gonna quickly learn that the sects that are present, like Sunnis and Shias, there's no healing them. There's no making alliance with them. There's no, you are capable of being friends with them. You're capable of being united with them if they're willing to overlook your differences. But you're going to quickly realize that they're out to kill you. They're out to get you. You're a kafir to them. There's not going to be ever respect. There's not going to be. So trying to mend Sunnis and Shias doesn't go very far. And the verse that I keep in mind is those that sectarized their, or those that divided their religions and became sects. You, the prophet, the blessed messenger, you have nothing to do with them. So he's not part of them. So why would I go try to mend with them?
Okay.
Right? I'll call them towards mending with each other. That I'll do. Like Sunnis and Shias shouldn't fight. They should be a one common hand. They should be working together. But God says that he created animosity between sects till the day of judgment. So you can't go against the word of God thinking that you're going to solve it. So one side of it is to try to show awareness to the people that this stuff that they're learning is nonsense, so that they would detach themselves from Sunnis and Shias. And the other side is like you have to try to build bridges between them for their own sakes. Just like how, like certain times I talk to certain Orthodox and certain Protestants, and certain Catholics to see if that they could find common ground and be cool with each other. But it's the same thing with Sunnis and Shias. They just don't.
Yeah. So real quick before I get to my next question, the brother Tropical Land, he was like, I agree in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, that there's no sex, right? And then he mentioned something about, but the what does he say? But the prophet, peace be upon him, explained it, so I don't see a problem. It's definitely secondary. But brother, your position is not the normative position. And he also said earlier that he doesn't.
How can you have one saved sect?
He he also said he doesn't see it as being sinful to follow the Quran alone. But again, that's not the normative position, brother. You're clearly more open-minded than the vast majority of the traditionalists. and many of them would condemn you just for even suggesting what you're suggesting. So
there is something where the majority of what you're interacting with are people online who are talking about these topics. Okay, but the majority of the world outside of the world that does not watch religious content, they don't care. They have absolutely no idea.
And I'm not saying the lady. I mean, like the normative scholarly position.
Yes,
right?
you're right.
So, which when I say the normative position of the traditionalists, I'm referring to their scholars, because when you go and you talk to one of the lay people, the vast majority
okay
of
with
them
that.
they're gonna be like, oh, I don't know. Let me see what the scholars say. You know what I mean? They're always gonna appeal to what the scholars say. So even if like logically and rationally they know that position is flawed, and they're only going to feel that way until they go and check with the scholars, and then they're going to be like, oh, maybe I was wrong, right? And they stop thinking for themselves, even though on the surface of it, if they've read the Quran, they know we're not allowed to divide into sects and all this other stuff.
Right.
Okay. In your experience, what do you think are the main causes of new divisions forming among those who claim to follow the Quran alone?
Oh, in the Quran alone community or politics? It's always been politics. Yeah. Even here, politics. So it's like certain individuals, because of their ideologies, they want to undermine a different ideology, so it becomes politics, right? So it's all political. All these divisions and sects and factions is political. That's why they divide in their religion, while and they want to put down a different type of community, or they want to eliminate a community, or expose a community. And unfortunately, they just but the thing is, certain individuals are leaders, you could say, of certain parts of the community. When you speak to them, there's always like a, because of the verses of God and us agreeing on the core principles, not in regards to like application, we're capable of going back to peace very quickly, and that's what I try to achieve. But I'm not saying that I'm a leader of a community or anything. I'm just saying that just in general, if
You're
you
community, brother, you have community forming around you, right? With that comes certain responsibilities and
right.
You know what I mean? And this is something I was talking to another brother who has a channel and whatnot, and I was like, whether it's whether it's you, whether it's Brother Shoaib, whether it's any of these other brothers that are they're trying to put forward the position in a real way, and I don't like using the term, but be influencers, so to speak.
I'll call myself an influencer.
There's there's certain responsibilities that come with that, just like there's certain responsibilities that come with standing up and becoming an imam, like becoming an elite, right? And as representatives of our community, right, there's a little more pressure on you to represent us, right? Whereas the average one of us who is only really participating in the chat, it's a different thing. You know what I mean?
What I mean is, like, I'm not going to self-appoint myself into any position of leadership, but if I find myself in certain positions where I am representing, then I'm just pushing that because God is putting me in that position, that moment. So I don't strive to be. I strive to do what I want and what God has shown me, and if it leads for me to have some leadership position, then that's the byproduct. Because authority is given by God. You put it that way.
Of course. Now, the last question I have in this, line, I ask all this because I notice there's a handful of them where these fissures are beginning to appear, and one of them is miracles, one of them is rituals. You have the stuff with the 19ers, you have flat earth, globe earth, you know what I mean? do you think we might be in danger of repeating the same patterns of division?
No. So for my yes, of course, every religion has to undergo that. Yes, we're definitely gonna have the same fate as everyone else before us. The biggest test to the Quran alone community, it's the ritual versus non-ritual. That's the biggest test. That one is the biggest monster against each other. So there is one correct position. Okay, you know which side I represent, but the other side to me is very problematic. But it does not mean that they're not part of my community. It's just that side, that style, and that approaching of the religion is extremely difficult because if you do not have a ritualized, timed manner, disciplined, in where you are setting time away from your day strictly for the remembrance of God by yourself or with others that want to remember God, not discussions, nothing. It's just your brain and God and the Word of God, then you're not going to be able to make it. That's why I keep saying that those individuals that keep wanting to promote the position of non-ritual, you simply do not have what it takes as a human being to make it. You can be a good person, you can be a positive individual, you can show a lot of good for the world, but when it comes down to the pressures and the pushback that you get from the rest of the world, if you're a person that does not pray, you're not going to make it. Now that's the way that so that's why I don't attack them. I just know that they're not going to go very far. It's not possible. You need to have your times of prayer that God has told you. And when you really commit to those times and you get that discipline, you will see a lot more doors open to you because mentally you're prepared. And you have a lot more in the Quran under your hands. So yeah, so for me, the biggest issue is the people that say that iqamat as-salah, the establishment of the prayer has no rituals. No, you're done. But do what you want. Whatever you, as I keep saying, whatever you're gonna put in the pie, you're gonna eat it. If it's salty at the end, or if you don't like the meal, change the ingredients. I'm very content with the meal that I'm eating.
But we can all still.
Because yeah, I'm friends, man. I have people that are non-rituals that I like. There's my good brother. His name on TikTok is Bill, right? Hussein Fatal. He's a non-ritual. I go on his panel often and I talk to him. They're my good friends. I had a long discussion with the brother Maverick X. Me and him had a fallout, and then we had a sit down, and everything's cool. Again, I can appreciate what they're saying. I just simply don't think that this is what is. Oh, I just simply don't agree. Put it that way. But are they believers? Yeah. Do they believe in God? Yeah. Do they do their part to whatever they believe is the limit?
I know you're not trying to stay on here too long, so now I've had someone express to me that they're worried that within our Telegram, they will be condemned if they express any sort of leaning towards this position.
I don't let it propagate in my Telegram. No, that's my choice.
Okay.
Flat Earth does not get propagated in my Telegram, and the non-ritual. You know why? It's not that I don't respect their decision. They don't know when to stop.
So
me and you can have a quick discussion, 20-minute discussion, and then it's done. But when you allow that discussion to happen on Discord or Telegram, it's 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and it doesn't stop. And at the end, the people start to insult each other. So it's just because for me, it makes it easier. Don't have it. And I'll show you many people in the history of my Telegram when I did allow for flat Earth or globe Earth or Salah versus non-Salah. Bro, it's the same 4 names from the beginning of the day till the end of the day, and they're still arguing, and it's the same point being repeated a million times. They just don't know when to just let it go.
So I had
until one becomes a kafir.
I had a I don't want to say a run-in because the interaction was overall like it was fine, it was amicable, and I just chose to walk away at a certain extent. With a couple of the brothers in the Telegram who are of this flat earth variety. And I had one of them said something because I put forward a possible interpretation of of something, and they said it couldn't be that Quranically, right? So they're making a definitive statement. It can't be this because the Quran says so. So I said, present your proof if you be truthful. And then when they bring me the proof, it's all like real sketchy hermeneutics, and they're coming with this crazy interpretation that I'm like, dude, the text doesn't say that. And I'm not even taking a definitive position. I'm just saying, could it be? And you're saying, no, it can't be. Right. And after a certain point, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk away because the earth isn't flat. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
Right. No. Okay. So when it comes down to the flat Earth and the globe Earth, that one for me, it's just that's a whole different game where it's not the Quran, because the Quran is not talking about the shape of the Earth. Some stuff are phenomenological, some stuff are like metaphysical, but to straight out to say that the God is saying that the world is flat in the Quran, no, that's not. He's saying it's flat to you. He flattened it for you. You know what I think? But again, that's a very deep discussion with certain individuals. But I don't look. So if I am, me and you are friends for some time, okay, and then every time I see you, I start fighting with you, and we start to really get at each other, and I find myself that I'm not remembering God in the moments that I'm fighting with you. What is the best option? To keep being your friend, or just to stay respectful and distance myself, right? So when I saw that there is no benefit with the non-ritual or the flat earth discussions, I just distance myself so that I don't lose my religion. And it's not losing my lose my religion and like getting angry or frustrated or saying things that I don't want to say to the individual. I'd rather be your friend and not talk about it than have to sit here and talk. It's like talking with talking about Jesus is not God to Christians. They've heard it for 1400 years. How much more do I have to keep talking about it, And that's like, it's the same thing.
Okay, so
And by the way, my wife's a flat earther. Don't worry, she's gonna come around, literally.
Oh no. Okay, so I think this is a good, because I had a couple of things.
But hey, actually, Isa, by the way, you see, she's got a big channel, okay, like 800,000 followers on the Spanish side on TikTok, and I have my channel, and this is a very big difference, flat Earth and globe Earth, but yet we're capable of making it work, right? So it's about the mentality, but it's fine.
So I tend to emphasize with everybody I interact with, and like if you're paying attention in the if you're paying attention in the group chat, right? I'm always calling everybody to, unity. I'm pretty outspoken about the fact that I don't think we should be calling the sectarians mushriks. I think this is poor manners. It represents us poorly, and like I understand where some people are coming from, but when you like make it's just part of your rhetoric where it's like, we're just gonna bash on these fools all day long. You're closing the door for any sort of productive discussion. So one thing, but then I'm also going to keep that same energy within our community too,
right?
Where it's like, regardless of where my position is, if we're agreeing on the most primary fundamental perspective that no one forbids, permits, or obligates other than God Most High, that the only thing binding upon the faithful is the Quran, then we're good, man. Like, right. I'm not going to sit here and condemn you if you want to pray, you don't want to pray. If I'm still learning myself, my positions may shift here and there. I tend to always look for, where's the middle ground? Where's the common word?
The common word is there is no deity except God, and there's a day of judgment. Whether the world is a globe or whether the world is a flat, it's not going to change your attitude. You see what I mean? Whether you do salah, whether you don't do salah, yes, that is going to change your behavior. That is going to change who you are. Okay, so that's where that discussion is more heavier than, but the miracles or don't miracle exist, it's not going to change much on who you are. Yeah. See what I mean? Fasting and no fasting, that will change because one person has more endurance than the other. one person is capable of letting go of things that are necessary and for God. So there's some discussions where it's important, but you just say it and move on.
So so I had a couple of questions. I was about if
That's
we could
beautiful.
get a couple of
I have a game that's coming soon. I have a not a game, but I have a plan for what you were talking about, and it's gonna be a little different. Okay, so but it's gonna be a proper podcast where I'm going to either make it mobile or have it a certain spot in the world where I'm gonna start to invite some of the bigger people, right, and to have a discussion face to face. And hopefully this is going to be in the next few months until I decide where. I think it's easier if I fly to the person than them having to come here. And it's just like, get a hotel room, set up the cameras, nice face-to-face discussion with certain individuals, some Sunnis, some Shias, and so obviously mostly Quran alone. So the people that want to show their faces, and I will go get from the whole landscape.
you ever gonna come to the States, or would you need people from the States to come to you?
I would need the people from the States to come to me.
I guess I got to get a passport. So question for in the Telegram. I was wondering if we could potentially set up a chat dedicated to Hadith studies, because
Yeah, sure. And I think my brother Hanif, who's in the chat as well, he's dedicating a lot of time right now to this. My brother Hanif, I'll also introduce you to him. He's having a deep study on the authenticity on like the authenticity of hadith. And you have Sister Yera as well. She has a very deep background in Western academia in regards to Islamic studies.
Because I would like to get the help from the community for some of the writing that I want to do. But then also I think it would be a good place to.
No, he's talking about that you need a passport. They're no, not anymore. They changed that. You used to be, but now you need a passport.
So
yes, you're asking so that the community would help you with what you want to do.
But not just that, it would be it would be an easy place for everybody to just go. Like, we have all the information there for when people are looking for arguments against Hadith, or you know what I mean.
Give me 1 second. I have something. I'm just gonna write something real quick to somebody.
And then whenever you're ready.
Sure.
Another potential group chat I thought might be beneficial would be one dedicated to refuting the sectarians, whether we split it up like Christianity and sectarian Islam, or it could probably all be one. But I had an interaction with one of the ex-Christian brothers in the chat, and I had him DM me, and he was having some doubts, and he was struggling with the idea of because he comes from a Christian background. So he ended up DMing me, and I'm bringing him a bunch of the proofs from their book, where it's like, dude, Christianity is not the way of Christ, and that should be enough for you, but here's all the proof. You know what I mean? But I thought it might be beneficial to some of our ex-Christian brothers and sisters to have that there in the public, where it's like, yeah, I'm always willing to go and
Aisa, do you like writing? Or put it that way. I have a project that I'm working on, which is behind closed doors, and it's gonna stay behind closed doors. If you're interested, I can talk to you about it. It's up to what you're talking about, but it's not gonna be on the Telegram.
I mean,
it's a pretty cool project.
Yeah, just cool. You know how to get a hold of me.
Exactly. All right, I think I want to put you on board on that one, because you would I think you would enjoy that one a lot, and when you understand why it is the way that it is, it's gonna make a lot of sense to you.
Okay, and then I got one other question, because I've never seen this from you, but I've heard a couple of people where I'm like, I don't think they can substantiate this, but with people who are making claims that you're claiming to be a messenger, how would you respond to this?
It's not so much on what they're trying to explain it as. I believe that I have a mission that has been bestowed upon me in 2010, and I have clearly seen the results of what God has shown me in 2010. It's not more so that I'm going to go around claiming that I'm a messenger, nor am I going to sit here and take a claim for anything that is not mine. But what I do claim is that I have been given a promise, and I've seen that promise unravel. And yes, I will defeat certain things and have a little bit more progress than what you're seeing now. That is what I promise. Okay. But if someone asks me directly, "Are you a messenger of God?" I'm going to say I'm a disciple of the messenger, because that's what it is. Do you know what it means to be a disciple of the messenger?
Enlighten me.
So Jesus had disciples, right? Okay. Muhammad has disciples too. Ansar.
Yeah.
So step up.
For sure.
It's not easy at all. But everyone has this opportunity. Yeah. I know of one other individual that truly stepped up. Baba Shuaiba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you call him a messenger?
I think, and I mentioned this in the group chat because one of our younger beloved brothers in the group chat, I've noticed some things that concern me about he seems to be developing something of a complex around you, and at one point he brought up the verse about if you're going to have a secret conversation with the messenger, give in charity first. Right. And so he brings up, if I think that Brother Muhammad is a messenger, should I be giving in charity before I go and try to have a conversation with him? Something to this extent. And he's also, he's often coming into the general chat and he's just looking for your advice. And I'm constantly trying to push him back to the word, right? And like, bro, go read the Quran and try to come and develop an understanding. And then when you need clarification, but you shouldn't be running to the brother every time you have any sort of question as if his word is the law, right? It's one thing.
The messenger's role, exactly. See, now you're explaining it in a way where it is what the messengers would do. See what I mean? So the messenger's role is to give the clear notification. The clear notification is what the Quran states. So when it comes down to these matters of opinion, the person who is in a position of a disciple of a messenger or a messenger himself, he would give you the right opinion, because it's his opinion is what God has shown him. So as God states in the Quran, it's like the disbelievers, before they get in trouble, they will say, like, God, why didn't you send us a messenger so that we could follow your signs? So it's like when someone, for example, like for me, I appreciate Baba Shuaib a lot. When he gives his opinion, I can see when it's his opinion. When he's quoting the Quran and it's extremely clear, there's not much left to say, because it's not him. He's just able to show it. See what I mean? He's able to show it. Okay. Would I go out and saying that he's a messenger of God now? No. But for me, the word messenger, the one who's delivering the messenger of, like, actually, yeah, I would technically, a certain level, would call him a messenger, and a messenger, a disciple of the messenger. You know what I mean? But I would apply that to other individuals too that are not following the Quran either, because the message of God is very simple. Is there's a day of judgment coming, and there's one God, and you are going to be questioned. You see what I mean? You're going to be questioned, and that is it. Okay. The world is going to end. There's a day of judgment. You're going to be questioned. And there's one God. So be careful what you're doing. Okay. Anyone who's delivered this through their inspiration, to me, is a messenger. And within the sports, within music, within writing, within politics, within every single field, there has become a messenger who's telling you the exact same things. He himself might not be even aware that he's fulfilling this task. Okay. But now somebody who's dedicating himself to the book of God, and he's capable of sending the message in the way it is, whatever is being applied to the prophet is being applied to that person too. I will be the first one to tell you that that's the truth. Okay. So, number one, and subhanAllah, this is where Yetta was talking about what happened last year in Lebanon. I went to Lebanon to pass out money that I collected through my channel. Okay. For the people who are the people who have been kicked out of their homes because of the war. They had to move to Beirut. I collected a large sum of money, US dollars, and I was giving $100 to every person that's in a tent, documenting the whole thing. When I first looked at the map in Lebanon, something in my heart inspired me to go to a specific spot on this map. This is exactly where the bombs were dropping, and I thought that that's where I'm going to be helpful. That's the only thought that I had. It's like that spot was very specific, and in my head, I made the conclusion that it's going to be helpful. So I went there, and I was walking down there. I saw, like, I was going in, and bro, like, buildings around me are completely destroyed. I'm peaceful. I'm with God, you know. But I see this alleyway I wanted to go into, right, and it's close to the spot where that pin that I put on the map. I was going to take that left, and a wind came and pushed me in my face, you know? My head is like, this is not it, right? So I kept walking in the same road that I was on. I went to the next left, but there was no wind this time. So I started walking down that street. Again, in my head, I'm here to help people. That's the whole reason, in the name of God. And then all of a sudden, there's like 6 freaking motors, like, you know, the scooters that they have. And it's all HA, you know, a certain organization in Lebanon. They all surround me, blindfold me, cuff me, boom, done, you know, million questions. Are you a Zionist agent? Are you here for this or this? And all I'm talking about is the Quran, verses of the Quran, Quran alone position, what it is, and what it's about, all of this. Brother, I went from going to push money out all the way to sitting in the Ministry of Defense of Lebanon, telling them about the Quran alone position, while I finally rose to a certain individual where I'm blindfolded again, right? I'm not handcuffed. And the guy's first question to me, and these people who know, like, these are intelligence, you know, these are not like dumb individuals. His first question to me is like, in the Quran, does it say that a woman has to wear a hijab? I say, no, there's no verse that clearly explicitly states that she has to wear hijab. I don't know what he said to the person next to him, he was like, this person's speaking the truth. And then he kept asking me questions about politics, about the Quran, and about like sectarianism, right? And then he keeps telling to the guy next to him, he's like, ask him any questions. This guy's saying the truth. This guy knows what he's talking about. Like, and he was very, and he was saying the conversation with him is fruitful. Anything this guy is asking for, just give it to him. I was treated like a 5-star hotel, you know, in this, while I'm handcuffed and stuff. It's because again, I'm witnessing the verses of God being enacted on me. But at that point, I feel like this is what God is calling about sunnatullah. Now, these individuals didn't kick me out of their country. These individuals treated me with respect, and they believed in the message that I gave them. Bro, within like 2 weeks after that, the entity known as Hezbollah was completely defeated, and they had a government, and things are improving for them. So it's like, I'm not saying that I did that, but they learned from me. Like, these are like the high-end people. They learned from what I was saying, and I could see some of the stuff that they were doing was changing, you know, a little bit, you know. But then I go to a country like Egypt where they kicked me out and they insulted me and all of this stuff. And I see, and again, I'm not trying to get arrested. I just find myself getting arrested and having to speak about the Quran alone position. And I believe that this is exactly what sunnatullah is. See, so God is using me. I'm not going around saying I'm a messenger or all this, but everybody has this opportunity. That's what I'm understanding. So the more you push and the more you put yourself out there, God, as long as you're training yourself, you know, which is what the prayer is, continuously reading on the Quran, practicing your patience, God knows now your character. God has trained your character. You can go out doing a mission, and then God just uses you just really quick to fulfill something that he wants, and then you're back doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have a promise from God, bro. I have a promise from God, and I have yet to see this promise get broken. It's personal, but I'm not gonna go into it. The first time I submitted to God, like fully submitted to God in 2010. So I'll tell this story a million times. And again, this is a personal sign for me. I'm not saying that this is about anybody. Okay. So in 2010 in November, I was having a lot of like psychological discussions to myself in regards to like what is the purpose, like, you know. I grew up as a Sunni. I never disbelieved in God. I always believed God existed. But in November, I just asked God, sitting outside on a sidewalk. I looked up in the sky and I said, God, I know you're there. Just tell me the truth. That's all I did. Like really from my heart, I said it to him. And then maybe a month and a half, I found myself reading the Quran. I read in the Quran. I read the first little part of chapter 2, and I was like, man, everything that's written here is not what they were explaining to me as a kid. It's a whole different message, right? But I was a computer programmer my whole life, and it's like talking to me like a computer program, but about my brain. You see what I mean? Whether whether you warn them or not warn them, they won't believe. Okay, deaf, dumb, and blind. Okay, so he's giving you attributes. If they did this, then this is the result, and there's nothing that's going to change it. It's beautifully laid out for me. I get to the verse where it states that we do not distinguish between any of the messengers. This is still chapter 2, right? We believe in Abraham, Ismail, Isaac, Jacob, the descendants, what was given to Jesus, Moses, and the prophets, and we do not distinguish between them. Bro, I read that and it clicked in my head. My people are worshiping the prophet. They are making clear distinctions between the prophets. And I'm telling you, I felt like and I got angry and I got upset. Like, well, how are you hiding this message from me? Like this book is so amazing. It's like, it's so profound, so deep. And then I got on my knees pretty much, and I started to pray to God. And I made God a promise from my heart. It's different when you're capable of getting to a level where you're talking from your heart. And I said something really deep to God about a promise that I made him. That's something that I wanted to do, that I want to accomplish because of this Quran, and what this Quran is. And I wanted to defend the Quran, you know, and I love God so much that like there's no turning back for me, pretty much. And I said my dua, my supplication, and after I did that, I felt heavy, bro. I felt really heavy, like hard to explain how heavy. I just had to lay down. Right after I said like where I give my part, and I was crying, you know, it's very emotional. And I laid down, bro, instantly my heart, like I close my eyes, my heart starts to slow down, like slow down. You can, when your heart's bumping, you don't feel it, but when it starts to slow down, you feel it. And then it stopped. Like my heart completely stopped. And I remember thinking to myself in my head, am I dead? Right? Like, did I die? And I say, am I dead? As soon as I finish the other D, all of a sudden, and like, my heart slowly starts to pump again. And like some time has passed, and I'm awake. You know, like God literally, after I made my dua, I was put to death and I was brought to life. And there's a verse in the Quran. Is it like the person that is the one who like we put him to death and we brought him to life, and he's walking with a light, like the person who's blind or deaf or blind or dead, right? And there's a verse like that. And brother, since that day, it's just my whole life has been different. And whatever I promised God and whatever He told me to do, and if I don't do what things don't work out for me, I get completely eradicated, bro. I completely lose, completely get eliminated. It's scary, bro. But everyone has this opportunity. It's not like I'm saying that I'm making it clear. Everybody here has this opportunity as long as you truly dedicate, man. Truly show loyalty, truly show dedication, bro.
Okay. Dang. Man. SubhanAllah. Thanks for sharing that, bro. Someone asked.
You're the first one who got it out of me online.
Hey.
Mm.
Praise
but
God.
I mean, I've said it to enough people where I think it's not a problem for me to say it. But I promise, and as God is my witness, I'll say this again. I won't make it about me, and I haven't made it about me, nor will I make it about me, nor will I say to people this and that. No, I'm here to talk about the Quran, and I don't want to make it about me. And I make it a point so that nobody can do what I do. Okay, so that's the whole point. you can try to follow my like what I do. No one, I don't think people would. I don't think people can. That's the whole like emphasis on how I'm showing the Quran alone is sufficient. I don't want people to follow me or to call me messenger or to. You just simply won't be able to keep up because there's a difference. Not that I'm a messenger or special or anything. It's just same thing with Shuaiba. I just don't think people can keep up with the amount of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, yeah. Brother asked about my panels in the back. Are you planning to make vids?
Yes.
God willing, I want to, but it's actually because I come from a music background, so that's why they're already there. But
SubhanAllah, you sir. You're a good brother, man, and you're a patient brother, bro.
Man, praise God, He's making me more patient. We talked about how I've got a little bit of a temper, and it used to be much worse though, because as a kid, I even had one uncle who he would just be mean to me. He'd call me like angry boy or whatever, and it would just make me more angry. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it, bro. I'll say I'm not a messenger. The Quran is. That's it.
And I just from a young age, I had to recognize that it's just one of my trials, right? It's something that I have to conquer for my own good. And now that I'm a father, I don't want to give it to my son, so it's something I've been really dedicated to, where Carl, are you not listening, bro?
I figured that's who you were talking about.
Dude, I don't know, man. Go and look at the conversation me and the young brother had last night, dude.
I can't keep up with it, but I know what Carl feels, and I appreciate you, Carl. But brother, no, you need to focus on the Quran, man. I'm a nobody, bro. But if you follow my advice and it helps you, then that's good. And if my advice does not match with the Quran, bro, throw it to the wall, as the Sunnis say. But again, I don't. These conversations don't make me comfortable, so I'm not here for all that. Definitely not here for all that.
No, for sure. And I've always seen you're clearly sincere, brother. Like that's why, to be honest with you, like I don't like this is kind of new to me, bro. Like I don't like putting myself out there like that. Even which is funny because I make music and whatnot, and that's like part of it, but we've never even really got that far. But it's like it's been one of those things that I've always struggled with, is like putting myself out there, because I'm not someone who wants any sort of limelight. I don't, you know what I mean? It's never really about me. Music haram.
Yeah. There's a lot to say there.
But
if I can turn off the lights and turn off the cameras and that's it, I would, but I would never do it.
But after I found your channel, and like I don't know if I mentioned this, but that couple weeks ago when you had brought it up, like I didn't even say anything. You had said something about you think I should start a channel, right? I don't think I mentioned this, but the very night before, I had a coworker who we were, he's a Christian brother, and I'm trying to, explain to him the position I'm coming from and the reason why I walked away from the Christians, and I'm breaking down some of the proofs from the book, certain things, like just trying to plant the seed, let him go and do his own research, right? And he said it, and then the very next day you said it, and I was like, whoa, bro.
You're this is gonna sound really weird. If you put your mind to it, you're gonna be the what was his name? Man, Jake the metaphysician, what you would be what he wanted to be.
Dude, I watched a lot of Jake stuff, bro, and like he was one of the first, one of the first Muslim YouTubers that I really started watching a lot of his content. But like I've always had issues with how much of a,
Sell out.
tech fury he is.
Oh, Takfir. I thought it was about the sellout.
Well, that dude, at first I didn't even know he like originally was Quran alone.
Yeah.
I
There's
when I
there's
found that
rumors on why he stopped. I don't know, so I'm not gonna
when
ask
I
him.
found out, I was like, "Whoa, what?" And then
Yeah,
it's not like I don't think he has any videos from that era. So
but even what he does say about it is just such a bad strawman position.
yeah. But then I still like to watch him, debate the Christians and whatnot because he
Yeah,
does a
he's
good
good at
job.
that.
He does a good job at that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and coming from a Christian background, he has good knowledge on it, and he's also very like he's definitely more um well versed in the church fathers than I am, right? I'm more like I'm going to take you straight to the
Scriptural.
book. You know what I'm
Scriptural.
saying?
Right.
So, because you don't even need to go that far. And usually with Protestants, it's like the Protestant position is in my opinion much more untenable because they don't derive their beliefs from the book. They derive them from the councils, but they reject every member of the council, right? They reject the church fathers, but they accept their councils. So it's like it's a self-refuting position. It doesn't even hold up to any sort of scrutiny. And but none of them
That almost sounds like the Shias,
but
where they accept all the imams positions, but they reject everyone who wrote about the imams. Pretty much,
yeah.
it's
And
weird to explain it because if when you show them something that the no, it's the writer that's wrong. It's not the imam.
which I mean, they're probably not wrong about that, bro. Like I've seen some crazy stuff in their books where I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's no way Jaffer said that, bro.
I think it's all like penmanship after the person passed away.
Yeah,
I
and
don't think they
they
just use
just
the name.
they just use their name for the authority,
Right.
and that's part of the reason why I had said this to you one day where like, I think we should be careful about how we talk about some of these um some of our predecessors, if you will, right?
Right.
Those who
No,
came before us, because
I say that. I always say that. I say whatever good they did is for themselves, and whatever bad is on them. Whatever good that benefits me, they're gonna have the. I don't put down Abu Bakr, Ali, Uthman, Muawiyah. From what they wrote down, I will take shots at Muawiyah, Yazid. I will take shots at Yazid. But the four caliphs, there's no point for me to try to like bring them down. Abu Huraira, I will take shots at. It's just because of what they've written down. That's what I'm using as material. But to go and start to insult certain Sahabis, there's no point
yeah,
because they sound from like just again assumption that they seem like there were some piousness in it, and when you look at certain material, if you remove the Sunni lens and you just put it on somebody who's just going to be just, you could see that they were actually just Quran alone.
yeah. I mean, I think this goes a little further, even. You know what I mean? Like from what we have about Imam Ahmed's position, I disagree, right? Like he's like the calcification of this. The hadith is an equal or even superior position, but like ultimately we only know so much, right? And we can only trust what the tradition has brought down to us about him to judge, you know what I mean?
Right.
And same goes for Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa, even Shafi'i, you know what I mean?
I would have a problem with Shafi. I have a few things about Shafi where I would make him problematic. I think he was just your regular what's his name, one that just passed away, Sheikh Fawzan, or the other one, the Saudi guy, Bin Baz, where he's just like government. He's just pushed by the government, so he won't have the right position. He would say the right politically position. So it's very political, not 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 actual honest.
Yeah.
So Shafi'i, I wouldn't. Hanbali, I haven't looked into, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, they're like, it's almost like a chain of students other than Abu Hanifa. He's kind of in his own little world, but like Shafi'i is supposed to be Malik's student, right? And then wasn't Hanbal Shafi'i's student?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure. But then like their position gets increasingly more hadith reliant, and the Hanbalis are the most, hadith reliant, and they're where the whole, Atheria, the Athari creed comes from them, and some of them, they border on like anthropomorphists because they're taking the surface level of God having a hand. That means he has a hand, but like,
right.
You know what I mean? Now, obviously, not all of them fit that description, but there are some that you can point to where it's like, dude, that sounds a whole lot like anthropomorphism.
There is, it's pretty deep when you start to, but again, it's an account of other people saying it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But brother, I do have
Oh,
to
yeah,
go.
for sure.
Go.
I'm gonna get out of your
God
hair.
bless you, man.
God bless you.
I don't
Peace,
have
brother.
hair. Oh, peace. My brother Thierno. I can't hear you. You're muted.
No, sorry. Hello. I was working, meanwhile listening to you, and I was saying that
Peace.
maybe, whoa, man, this discussion with brother Isa is so deep. How can I follow this discussion? So, how are you, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing fine. And again, my deep condolences for your father. I am. I'm praying for him whenever I can. So
To
my
God,
God,
we belong. To Him we return.
yeah. How do you holding up, man?
How am I holding up?
Yeah,
Those that follow our guidance, they there's no grievance upon them, nor do they fear. So I feel like anytime I'm gonna get into thoughts where I'm missing my father or feeling a certain way about my father, I just remember the religion of God, and I know there's gonna be a day that we're gonna meet. So I actually went and visited my father after he passed away. He passed away in Amsterdam. So he was in transit and he gets off the plane and he passes away in Amsterdam, where it's not his city and it's not his anything. So we had to ship him back to where my mother is, and I actually went and I visited him. I even showered him, and bathed him, because his request would have been to go through the Sunni ritual.
yeah.
I did all that for him. I also wrapped him and I put him in the box and made sure that he gets here safely. And we buried him on Wednesday. So we're definitely going to see each other in some other time. And they're the ones who rest while we're the ones who stay behind until we all start life after this small episode. So I'm all right.
Yeah, it's good. So when you are saying that you don't grieve, it's like you do not allow yourself to grieve. Or
Yes. So
like
there's
it's something that you are not allowing yourself to do.
right. So it's a matter of, one of the things that I keep talking about on my channel is to be able to control yourself and to control your thoughts. So it is very easy for me to sit here and to find things that will make me cry about my father leaving, remembering certain memories or wishing to call him more, or, the usual stuff. But then there is a way that you could stop it and you become objective in the way that you wanted to, like you be very objective in your thinking, that this is life, this is how it's going to be, and you don't allow yourself to go down into those zones. But I think it requires a lot of practice of religion. So one topic that I say is that during the good times, we're all practicing religion. We're practicing patience, we're practicing the prayer, we're practicing calling upon God. so that when the hard times come, that's when we apply it. The person's true colors truly shows during the rough periods of time. When things are not going your way. Are you going to like, oh man, my life is terrible, or I'm regretting, or start to break down and give up on God's mercy, while on while on the other side, the religion stops you from feeling sad and scared.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. But yeah, but otherwise, there was this this discussion with our beloved uncle, like as Isa said it, and before that discussion, I was very hyped, and after that that discussion, I was like, damn man, it was like
Um,
it was so bad because and I don't know if you watched the stream, the stream when he did a review, and I
I
think it
watched
was a
parts, and
bad.
I saw
Yeah,
your part. I watched your
yeah,
part.
yeah. It was so bad for me. But I knew right now in this situation when I discussing with him, it was like in this situation where he was saying, okay, I've done everything that I've done. I've listening to this guy. I've done cut him off, something like that. But for me, I was hoping that discussion would be like discussion that he got with I don't know with Eddie Buxel, or maybe that he got with I don't know. There was an ati- an okay, an atheist an atheist that he did an interview with. I think this the names of the atheist was Viduvis,
Yeah,
and he did an interview with him, and it was cordial good. But for this one, I was like, I didn't
fair enough.
understand why it was this bad. I didn't
He
understand.
had an agenda. He came with a plan. His plan is to show that this position is not viable. He didn't come with an open mind. He didn't come for a discussion. He didn't come, even if he had that thought in the back of his mind, he tried to set it up so that it would show that. You see what I mean? He's trying to make sure that the position looks incoherent. So he has to keep interrupting. He has to bring so many questions, and so that the person looks like he's confused. And then when he's trying to make sense, I'm going to move the topic again and not answer any questions. This is the typical strategy that they use. When I sense that, when I start sensing that that's what he's going to do, then at that point I started to like push back a little bit. I let him finish, but then no, I'm going to start playing the same games they're playing. Instead of him trying to like defeat my position, I'll answer the questions to things that they don't like, right? And then when they're wrong, I'm just going to call them out, and I'll keep pressuring them, going around in the same circle. Like, hey, you're saying this, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. And when they can't, it's like, okay, then so stop trying to push those questions on me,
Yeah, it was.
bro, it doesn't take too long to show you. Like, this guy had absolutely no idea how this discussion was going, and he keeps thinking that he's doing a good job. So watch. Let me just pull up the actual discussion. Mufti, what's Abu Layth? So we'll go to the actual discussion, which is in his live, I believe, right? Live, yeah, there it is.
I don't know why, but it is kind of frozen in my part. Maybe I will have to cut my video.
Sorry,
A bit. No,
I'm
no,
trying
no,
to.
no, no, no. I will
You
cut
want
my
to stop?
video.
Oh, because of your internet.
Well, my internet, yeah, it's not. It's African internet. I have to deal with it.
Sure. Sorry, bro. Here we go. I'm gonna.
Yeah, no,
share
right
this
now
now.
I see your feed right now. It's very
Okay. So
No, you did. I understood it
what's the
loud and
point
clear.
that I
Did
wanted to make?
everyone?
No. So the
You
point
wanted
that
to
I
say
wanted
that,
to
look,
make.
just saying that I'm steering it away from that. In a person like a king, he says, well, this person, except
So
you, accept love, right?
see,
Don't look.
everywhere
I don't mean to.
everywhere I click, it's him talking. Anywhere I click, it's just here. Well, let's just go here. Let's see if I'm talking here. Nope, it's
On
him
its
talking.
own, it's arsal.
Here.
ظاهر of the call
Okay, so
is ما أرسلناك
here we
إلا
go.
رحمة. The sending of you, we sending you
is a mercy
That's
for
the
mankind.
second interpretation. That's what I'm saying. Your one.
That's a verbatim. That's a verbatim. There's no other
Right, so-
interpretation from.
so
But
this
this
is
is what you did. This is what you did. You took a portion of the verse. You said Muhammadun rahmatan lil alamin. But the verse doesn't say
Muhammad
you
is
are
the
a mercy
word.
for the people. It's saying we did not say.
See, like as I'm talking, he just keeps talking, dude.
Send you. So if he was not sent, he wouldn't have been the mercy for people.
But at this point, I'm already like frustrated by him, right? He just like, I had to keep talking because at the beginning, like you could see me getting
That with
frustrated every
some
time.
may
he-
disagree.
You stood the prayer. You stood with your God, or don't reject of hadith. If it's something many is still seeable. So tell of the book we talk to that.
So
When
yeah,
we
this was
see
when
our
the discussion
country
was normal.
in regard to passion, and on the surface level, it just looks.
And then you may have planets, and planets may have moons, and on that sunnah or
Approach what the word sunnah means. The prophet, we're obviously with the discipline. We're in agreement.
Sure,
But in
that
regards
we're
to
in agreement with, yeah. So there's no, I mean,
You see that right there? That's when he started to just cut me off, right? So it's like when he's cutting me off, I'm like, okay, sure.
what
he-
we're
he taught
talking
enough for the
about
person.
when we're saying the sunnah of the
right.
Prophet.
So there is not a specific sunnah for the prophet. So let
We don't dispute that stuff. We
Yes.
don't dispute. So there's no
But-
point going into that because we
Okay.
agree on all of that. The lessons in the Quran
See, it's the same thing again. It's like I'm trying to, but I'll let him speak.
are universal, and we agree on all
Right.
of that.
And that's
So
the
the-
limits of Prophet Muhammad to us.
Do
He's
you
just
feel
one
that
more
the Prophet
lesson.
was? Do you feel that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was teaching, giving guidance? Do you feel that he was doing this as
Yes,
well?
he
Was he
was-
elaborating on the Quran?
Yes, he was definitely
Sallallahu
elaborating
alayhi
and clarifying the Quran to the people around him. We don't accept
And
that
is
that
that
has been
not valuable to us as Muslims?
That's exactly. These are the points where I'm like, okay, bro, this is turning into this, and then it gets to a point where literally, like, it's
you
like,
say a word, I bring a verse, and then you say that it's your interpretation, and please
It is.
don't do this, and please don't do that. I'm trying to need you to lecture me right now. So there,
Maybe said, look, don't do that. And understandings, or the prime as you mine, you
Prima
could say
facie.
don't do. So maybe you misunderstood that. So
one
look, that's
second.
fine.
So let me clarify my position. When you're saying that the Nur is Muhammad, this is the part where you're not showing any accuracy from what the Quran is saying. If you want to say Huda and Kitab, that makes sense. You want to say a moduality of Nur is the Kitab al-Mubin, that makes sense. When you're going to say that it's Prophet Muhammad is the Nur here, then you have to prove that from the Quran, which you can't. That's the point that I'm trying to get across. But so yes,
When you say,
one of the things
so you
is
mean
negated.
you mean it can't be? No. When you say it's not understood linguistically, is that what you mean? It's not understood. How is it not understood?
I made that point
In the
three
Quran, we
times.
can't take a verse in like when we isolate a verse and we're going
Okay,
to say that
so-
this word means this word when the other verses in the Quran are talking about the exact same thing. So I
So
took you
is
to
that
the verse.
inaccurate? It's an
So when I-
as in somebody who doesn't understand Arabic just wrongly understood that. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
that's somebody he's defining the word for what it is not. So this is a
Which is, by the
which
way,
is not ta'wil.
incredible mufassirin of this ummah who studied Arabic and the Quran much longer than you and I. So
They're not my
This
lords.
is what I'm saying. No, they're not. But are you saying that they've misunderstood? Is that what you're saying, that the Arabic is being misunderstood?
The word nur here cannot signify to a human being from the basic Arabic, okay? But we can try to say, to interpret.
So people look. So what you're see now. This is the reason.
Let me
why the
finish.
Quran is
Let me finish the
being-
point.
This is why your argument is getting so heavy-handed by people.
I haven't
because look,
finished. I trust me, I'm doing all right. What I'm trying to explain very simply is that people who have made this tafsir, they already had this presupposition that Prophet Muhammad is higher than the all highest other than
Yeah.
God. And because of that, they want to put Prophet Muhammad in the verse when he's not there. We have the same things with individuals that say that Rashad Khalifa is a messenger. I haven't finished the
understand.
point.
No, I don't want
We
to speak
haven't
about
finished the
Rashad
point.
Khalifa. No. Look, listen.
But I was
Right.
trying to explain the example. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
right.
you keep
So
interrupting
yours-
me, but I'm trying to land my
because-
point. So the people that say that Rashad Khalifa is a messenger, they
No, I don't want to
keep
speak
trying
about
to shove.
Rashad Khalifa.
They
Forget
they
Rashad
keep
Khalifa.
trying.
Forget Rashad
I'm
Khalifa.
trying to explain a point. I don't want to
I
talk about
agree.
Rashad. I'm
Rashad
showing you the
Khalifa.
human psychology, where
So-
they
Yeah,
want to.
so that's like what it's the same thing. It's like when you're trying to make a point, they just don't want to let you make a point because he
No,
understood what I
sorry.
meant. Because I'm saying like, oh, they take him the highest other than God. He goes, yeah, of course, 100%. So because if you have that mentality that Muhammad is the highest of the highest other than God, then you're gonna try to find him in everything. Like,
Man, it was so painful to watch, man. I was,
It was.
I was like, no, man, that's the way that you were saying. But you know, when I was, when I participated in his stream, I was saying that, you know, there are something that they said about you, that they perceive about you.
yeah,
I've said,
Khawarij.
yeah, I've said it. I didn't want to say that. Okay, you were wrong to say that you was a Khawarij. I think that he know in deep in his mind and in his heart that when he that when he said that word, and in conjunction with you, it was a bad look for him. It was bad because like this is not a Khawarij. This is in the opposite direction of what is that it is
Right.
a Khawarij. But I told him that, you know, there are many people who think that Brother Muhammad is like this guy, bored guy, angry, coming over there, being such an angry dude. But just go listen to one of his sermons, and I redirected people to go listen to your sermons, and you will see that you, he's a kind guy. He's something who like he like he got a very soft heart, and I know that and I even see and I can and I can and I even and I even tell him that, you know, some of his ways of carrying himself and the way that he was exposing some bad takes, it kind of resembles when Mufti Abulais, when he was doing what he was doing in his youth, because in his youth he was not like this calm chill
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. No, I
You
know.
know, no, it was not like, it was like the the guy that every other Sunni traditionalists were going at his neck.
Mhm.
Even in some of the khutbah, Juman khutbah, some people will say there is this guy he is in YouTube, he's saying he's a mufti. People were doing it because he was saying the most controversial takes on that time. He was
Yeah.
saying some stuff like, okay, Jesus is not coming back. This thing have a very great implication in Sunni beliefs.
Yeah.
But he
No,
was saying
I
this.
am.
But he was saying this. He was saying this. He was saying this, and he was saying, and yeah, he was saying that no, to people. He was saying that, okay, Christmas is not haram, Halloween is not haram. People were saying, people were saying, man, this guy was a. They were doing heavy, heavy,
Takfir.
heavy takfir to this guy.
Yeah.
But he was pushing through. He was doing because he knows that, okay, it was my belief, and I can substantiate it, and by what I believe in.
Mhm.
But right now is yeah, he changed. I know there is many stuff that happened to his life that lead to this change.
There
But
was an unfortunate event as well
yeah,
where hijab went out of his way to and ended up having him get hurt in his house, which is
yeah,
unfortunate.
in his family, and yeah, it was very difficult for I think for him. And you know, I always said that, you know, some in when you are when I'm talking to somebody, and he and in this day he has this opinion, I'm always said, okay, this was your opinion in that day, but tomorrow or the day after, or maybe the in 1 month or 3 months, or maybe I don't know, maybe tonight your opinion might change.
Right.
Your opinion might change because life, we are constantly evolving. We are constantly changing ourselves and changing the way that we conduct and something like that.
Hmm.
And I and for him to do to you what people was doing to him, like misjudging him or something like that. It was not good. It was not good from his part.
It's
And yeah,
I'm okay
unfortunately.
with it. You see, the thing is, it's the thing that he doesn't like, which I said it to him when we first talked, is I said to him that people like thank you because the work that you did on Bukhari Gate, it leads a lot of people to us, and he didn't like
Mhm.
that comment, so he wanted to make an exposition so that when people are coming to his channel to not come to us.
Mm,
That was his whole
mm.
point. Like I understood this quite early because I said that comment and it bothered him.
Yeah, the fact that maybe I don't know if it bothered him, but that's the truth.
Yeah,
Like the
it is the
like
truth, and it's not going to change.
but Bukhari Gate kind of was for its time, like
Mhm.
it was monumental because there was some stuff that certain mufti, certain people of knowledge would not publish, or
Right,
maybe they would publish it, but people would do everything that they can
to hide it.
to hide it. But he did a stream, and he exposed it. People were like, "Whoa, what's happened
Mostly.
to the Bukhari right now?" And
Mhm.
it was and after that it was before Bukhari Gate and after Bukhari Gate. Everyone who was putting Sahih Bukhari in a like on par of in the Quran.
In a good place. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, but it was when people was doing that, it was I didn't like people were saying no, it was not possible, and they were doing some refutation, and by
Mhm.
doing this refutation, they were not feeding him, but he was doubling down. He was saying no, this what happened, and people was misjudging him.
Right.
But yeah,
It's
that's
unfortunate. It could have been a very good beneficial conversation, and
no, yeah, I would have loved that it was like the like a little like of Eddie Mixer.
yeah.
But yeah, but
You know
uh,
how he made a comment that he never washed my stuff and all of this?
mm,
So there's a good brother called Hussein, and he came up on his show as well for the review.
yeah, yeah,
Hussein? Yeah.
yeah,
So
Hussein, yeah,
he comes up to my channel a few times, like this was in the past, right? And he would tell me about Mufti Abu Layth, and that he would wanted to see a discussion between me and him for a while.
yeah.
And there was a time where he was gonna go set up a discussion with me and him, and Mufti Abu Layth watched my stuff, and he said, "No, I'm not interested in having a discussion with him." So now all of a sudden he never watched my stuff. So there's a lie there somewhere. So either he lied to Hussein or he's lying now.
Uh,
Brother Has, yes, exactly.
no,
So
yeah, but uh, but I was so in a second note, I was watching. I was thinking about it. I was saying, but like, why people have bad vibe with us. I was thinking about it. I was saying, okay, why people having this bad vibe with us? Like like
we
we are not
challenge the
doing.
status quo, bro.
but but I was doing some little investigation, and I was going to some of your YouTube shorts,
Mhm.
and I was saying that maybe this is what they see, because like sometimes they the algorithm kind of push a lot people would do like the shortest video,
Right.
and some of your shortest so some of our shortest video, it is in a context.
Aggressive.
Yeah, yeah, it is aggressive, but I
Right.
know that it is aggressive because it is in a context.
But it's also
when you
because of the
when
algorithm, brother.
Well, yeah, yeah, but that's yeah. No, I'm saying I know that it is about the algorithm. I'm
Mhm.
saying that the content is aggressive because it is in a context.
Right.
Yeah, you understand. So
No,
like,
no, I know.
it is not if it is not in another context, it wouldn't have been aggressive. It would have been chill, maybe something like that. So I'm
Right.
like, oh man, Dan. So you know if people would have known you by your sermon or by the stream or by, I don't know, the video that you are doing in the Quranic remedies, I was saying maybe yeah, but
but those people, but those videos, nobody sees them other than people who look for them.
yeah, you have to look for them.
You have to, because that's how the state of the world is. So I'll get the ocean of people by doing the edgy, aggressive, short debates, the high energy stuff, and the people who love the Quran and want to spend time with the Quran with me. That's where the other stuff is available, and those are the cream of the crop.
But yeah, but I want to ask you, like,
If I
what,
cut part of the sermons and I make them into shorts,
yeah, why not?
they won't get views.
But is it but if they don't have views, but it is the right thing to do.
Then
I think
I would have hurt my algorithm. Trust me, but there's a science behind it. So if I get 2 or 3 shorts that don't get the usual numbers that I get, then I get demoted on the algorithm.
yeah, but don't you think that if the algorithm does not like you at all, it will always demote you?
The reason why the algorithm likes me is just because of the content of what it wants to see. You have to cater to a certain degree. I don't compromise, I adapt. I don't compromise in my religion, I adapt. But yes, the stuff that I would love to do, where there is no debating and where there is no taking back and forth and just talk about the Quran, yeah, that's a different type of audience. And I still do that stuff, but it's not going to be the thing that makes me on the front lines. People want to see war.
I don't like wars.
Unfortunately, I don't either, bro. Trust me, I don't either. Like, but that's the thing about, again, what's amazing about this religion. I turn this off, I go to sleep, I don't think about it. But I see a lot of individuals, they sit and think about it after the cameras are off. I actually don't. I don't sit and ponder and look for other things. No, I don't do that. If I run into something while I'm reading, oh, cool, that's awesome, and I investigate a little bit, I'm done. But to sit and think about it all day, no, then you fell into then the algorithm beat you. Instead of using the algorithm, then you became part of the algorithm. Like you started thinking like the algorithm, and that's the feel. I don't sit in my bed and think about ways on how I'm going to trap a Sunni.
Yeah, but I think that some of the Sunnis, when they try to have like an impression of you, they see this
That's
this
fine.
guy, so
I know, and I'm fine with that.
Hmm.
I have to play my cards, brother, because when the plan, God willing, if I keep pushing with what I would like to achieve, the online content is not going to be it's not going to be forever. Let me put it this way: people will get to know me a little bit more later, and if God willing, if I let's say if I jump into politics a little bit more, and then it's a different type of settings, There's not much joking around there. There's not need for gotcha moments and stuff. You just say what needs to be said.
Yeah, but
One step at a time. But I see what you mean.
no,
Here,
no.
look. I'll do you one, okay, bro? I'll do you a favor. What I'll do is I'll go into some sermons and I'll clip some clips and I'll put them. And I'll show you. It's a different type of audience. People skip that right away. But I'll do it.
Yeah, but that's what I want. You can post it. You can. Yeah, I don't think that I don't know if you if your channel Quranic remedies can put
short.
Yeah,
I can, but the Quranic remedies is not. That's untouchable for and that kind of stuff. No.
Okay,
But you like videos where it's like I'm giving a quick lesson outside, or me and La Muslimana. Those, right? Yeah, I can do more of those. Those are still edgy, but it's not from like a sermon.
Yeah.
Where I can, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, those I can still do, but those require a lot more work. Right now, the time is different. There is one that I have in mind, and I'm trying to get permission to do it, but I need a private jet.
You're talking about a podcast, huh? I want to hear that podcast. You were talking about doing a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, with Isa.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna go.
No.
find a lot of people. But I was talking to Ethan about it. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's a different one. No, but I wanted to do a short. There's a short that I want to do, but I need a plane in the background.
Yeah.
That's different. But I have a whole list of things I want to achieve, and I keep going up a little bit here and there. So I'm behind, but I'm definitely got a lot that I would like to do. But yeah, one of the things that I wanted to do is this mobile podcast, or maybe have it in a city here and fly people here, have one-on-ones.
You know that the discussion that you did with brother Walid.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was it was a good discussion.
Thank God.
It was a very good discussion.
Mhm.
The first and the second, like the second time that I don't know. I think it came back in your studio, and he was and yeah, and he was talking about like the bigger fight. Like
Yep.
we are some we are right now we are fighting with people, but there is a bigger fight. There are people who I think like they are evil. It's not like, okay, why did you do Salah, or did you not do Salah, something like that, or what is the definition of Salah? These people are not talking about that. These people are talking about how I have this, and okay, so I have this, I have to kill this number, these people, I have to torture these people, I have to corrupt the land to have this thing. These are the very meaningful fight that we have to do as
Right.
people, as believer. So in
That's
this
very true.
segue, I will tell you to maybe to your audience, to maybe if they do not know what's happening to Sudan, like to
Yeah.
keep to keep really Sudan in your prayer, to
God help them.
to push the algorithm, so that maybe all of the things that's happening over there can be alleviated. And I hope, and I really hope that that God can, provide
Ease their pain.
healing, very easing and pain to people. My my continent is suffered a lot from, I don't know, from all these years. And I
That's what
think that
happens when you're rich, bro.
that's what.
Africa's the richest continent, so everybody wants a piece.
Yeah. They don't want peace with we don't because they don't want to us to have peace with, man. This is
No.
complicated.
The only way you're gonna gain peace in Africa is by education, bro.
Yeah.
Educating the masses, but they won't allow it. But my good brother Thierno, I do have to sign off. It's time for my prayer. So
Oh,
I no.
thanks a lot.
We're good, man. God bless you, man, for coming. I apologize, sunrise in the west. I didn't get to you. I did have amazing conversations with my two special guests, Thierno and Isa. And
Thanks a lot, man. And
mm,
have a good prayer, and have a good rest, man. Thanks.
God bless you, bro.
God bless you
Peace.
too, man. Thanks a lot.
Sana.
Peace.
Peace.
Salam.
All right, my brothers and sisters, thank you for another week, God willing. Thank you, Brother Hanif, for showing up as always. Thank you guys for coming up, Isa and Thierno. And another successful week, just because we are remembering God, believing in God, and that's what's sufficient. See, when you truly submit, you truly start to believe in God in a way that God is ordering us to, which is very difficult to achieve for any of us, is just because the sky is truly the limit. Where the faith, the love, and the compassion that you can have for God, it just can keep building more and more. There is no limit. There is no cap to how much you can serve your Lord. But when you do achieve a certain level, then the words just start to fly off your mouth. If you have these words in your heart, you have this mentality that just can speak the truth. It's because that's what you have been training to do, is just to remember God and to speak about Him with true compassion and true love, with empathy for the other side, with a way of understanding their perspective and the Quran telling you how to deal with it. This is what's beautiful about the religion of God. It truly gives you this spirit, this mercy, this way of approaching matters where people see it as confidence, where people see it as you're conquering or whatever it is. But you're not even concerned with that. Because the only thing that you're concerned with is that when you do close your eyes and you finally die, you're happy, you're content. Because your Lord is right there with you. And your Lord should be enough for you. Because when we say the Quran is sufficient, it's because God is sufficient. If everyone in this world disappears right now, and I'm the only living soul, I'm sufficient. I'm happy. I have who I truly want, who I truly love, whom nothing can take them away from me other than my own actions and my own regrets. This is truly what the message is, that I'm super content with who God is. I'm happy and I'm willing to serve him for the rest of my life. And out of his mercy and out of his forbearingness and his greatness, he allowed us to have other people in this world with us, these companions and these parents and kids and friends and believers and families, so that we're not so concerned with just who we are as individuals. But at the end of the day, you're facing your Lord alone. And that's where the truth lies. With that said, all praise to our Lord, the Lord of the worlds. Peace be upon you guys. Salam. 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 I follow last guide. Bro, come on. We were leaving like on such a good note. And you come with these messages like, what do you guys want from me? Like, this is so